A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now to resume the life of Mary Sothern. Yesterday, Danny made a decision that may influence his future, the future of Phyllis, his wife, and the future of Mary and Max Sanders. It was up to him to tell Mr. McGraw, the prosecutor, sent down to Sanders to try the gambling syndicate, whether or not he believed Max was working for the mob or against them. At the last moment, however, Danny admitted to the district attorney that he believed Max innocent, that he was merely working for the law, outside the law, to round up the gambling syndicate and bring them to justice. There was nothing for Mr. McGraw to do but agree to request a postponement until he can get more evidence. Now it's only a short time later, and Danny has gone directly to the clinic to see Phyllis. Something is bothering Danny.
Oh, Danny, I'm so glad you've come back.
Hi. Yeah, I wanted to see you.
Well, why all the gloom?
Phyllis, I've just betrayed you.
What are you talking about, Danny?
That business we'd talked about. You're going to Switzerland to get cured and all that. It's all off.
You're not going to get the reward money?
Oh, I'll get that all right. I'm pretty sure of that.
Well, then why?
Oh, I may as well tell you the whole thing. Phyllis, that reward wouldn't have been enough to do all that was necessary to make you well and strong again. It was going to take much more than that.
When did you find that out, Danny?
I knew all the time.
I see. It wasn't necessary to lie to me about my chances.
I wasn't lying to you, Phyllis. Up to just a little while ago, I was going to have enough money to do everything that I said I would for you, but... Well, I don't know. It's just that I'm not strong enough to do a thing like that.
I don't...
When I called the governor on the phone and told him to come down here and break up the gambling ring, I knew that Max was working on the side of the law to do the same thing. I was so angry with Max for worrying you, and we all knew what worry could do to anyone in your condition, that... Well, I didn't tell Governor McDaniels that Max had a real part in it.
Oh, Danny, you should have. Why, you'd have saved Mary and Max a great deal of heartache and trouble.
But people don't think at a time like that. All I knew is that you were suffering, and I wanted to make someone else suffer, too. I still feel that Max is responsible for you being so sick now.
Well, that's not exactly true, Danny.
But there's some truth in it, isn't there? You were so upset by the way Max was acting.
Danny, darling, I was thinking of you. And the little squalling part of you that's over in the nursery. Probably yelling his head off for his lunch right now. I didn't think too much of Max.
Gee, I'm glad to hear you say that, Phyllis. Mary said that's the way it is, but I didn't believe her. Makes me feel a lot better.
But what about the money you were to get?
Davis and Proust came to me and offered me enough to take you away and get you all cured if I would testify for the state against Max. I was to say that Max was really a member of the gang and not working against them.
And is that what's been worrying you? Is that why you feel you've betrayed me?
Uh-huh. I still feel I should have done it, but, I just couldn't.
Oh, Danny, you've just proved to me that you're everything I always believed you were. I'm so happy now. And how could I ever be happy if I thought that my recovery was paid for by someone else's unhappiness? Oh, Danny, you're a real person.
Oh, Philly, please don't say that. I feel like a first-class heel. You say one more nice thing to me, I'll bust out and bawl out in that new son of mine.
Danny, darling, you've done more to make me well by telling me all this than all the doctors in Switzerland. And I think you're just wonderful. And I hope your son's proud of you.
Phil, please. Oh, I warned you not to do that. Now look at me.
Come here, Danny. Put your head on my shoulder. That's right. I think I'm probably the happiest woman in the world right now.
Oh, but don't you see what this means? But you may never walk again.
Hush, Danny. We mustn't think of that. We mustn't think of it.
Oh, I knew my Danny boy would do it. Yep, he's a Stratford, all right.
It's a pretty big temptation, all right.
I wonder if I would have had the courage to do what Danny did under the same circumstances.
Especially when his only chance of getting Phyllis Stewart is gone. It meant an awful lot to Danny. I wonder if we'll ever be able to make it up to him. I talked to him before he went to Mr. McGraw, and however I felt about Max, I know what it meant to Danny and Phyllis.
Well, what's done is done. I'm glad he did it this way. Now what we got to think about is getting Maxie out of hock.
Has bail been set?
No, John. But whatever it is, I'm afraid it's going to be more than I have.
Well, you know, Mary, that everything I have is at your disposal.
Yeah, and that goes for me too, Mary, darling.
I know. You two are the best friends I have. I'm afraid this is going to take more than friendship.
How much do you think you're going to need, Mary?
Well, John, I don't really know. Hope it's not over $1,000 or so. Don't know where I'd get that amount.
Yeah, we could all pitch in.
Danny's right, Mary. We could all help. It's very important that we get every cent we can to help Max. We've got to get him out of jail and into the fight against Davis and Proust, or they'll take over the Sanders' interest without any opposition.
And not only for that, John. I want my Max home again. But I feel sure with all our combined efforts we couldn't raise enough money.
You know, I've just been thinking, Mary. What about Bill Clark?
Oh, no, I couldn't ask him.
I know the way you feel about that, Mary. Lord knows I don't want to see you indebted to Bill Clark. You know how I feel about him. But this is an emergency. We need money. And Bill Clark's the only one who's got it to give.
Say, by the way, where is Bill Clark? I ain't seen him around. Is he going back to Hollywood?
We saw Bill yesterday, Daddy.
It's funny that he'd stay out of sight all this time.
Well, John, I asked him to. I wanted him to go back to Hollywood, but he wanted to stay here in Sanders, so I made him promise not to get mixed up in the trouble. He's got too much at stake. His cousin Jack is still here, too.
Yeah, but Elizabeth's going back.
Daddy, I promise you when this all goes over, I'll let you go to Hollywood and visit her.
Well, now, wait a minute. No one's going to let me do anything. If I want to do it, I'll do it.
Oh!
Mary, you touched Daddy's weak spot.
Oh, now, leave me alone. I suppose I do like Elizabeth. I don't want to hear no more about it. I'll get it. Hello? Who? Oh, how are you, Sheriff? Yeah. Yeah, well, I know, but what? Well, say, how does he get that way? Well, that's terrible.
What is it, Daddy?
Just hold on to the wire for a minute, Sheriff. It's about the bail, Mary. He's been set at $5,000.
5,000? But, Daddy, that's too much.
Mary says it's too much. Well, I know you can't do anything about it. Why can't you talk to McGraw? Well, you can't, eh? Oh, I see. Well, thanks for calling, Clark. Say hello to Maxie for me. Goodbye. Well, there we are.
Well, we'll never get 5,000.
Mary, Bill Clark's your answer. Much as I hate to say it, he's got enough. He'll never miss it.
Afraid Max will never stand for it, John.
Yep. Remember how he acted about Bill Clark's coming here in the first place?
Well, if he doesn't want to spend his time in jail, he'd better get over that silly jealousy.
Why don't you put it straight up to Max?
Daddy, that's the only way I'll do it if I do it at all.
Now, Mary, you're not going to be silly and proud, too, are you?
Mary, darling, Max ain't going to let Bill put out the money for his bail. He's just too pig-headed and jealous. And you've got to do it without Max's knowing.
Daddy's right about that, Mary. Max will refuse, I'm sure of it.
I know he will. That's why we got to do it without his knowing about it. That is, we don't want to see everything we have in this town swallowed up for those crooks Davis and Proust. It won't be the Sanders' interest if we give him much more time.
Daddy, the question of money or property involved is of minor importance. What is important is that Max is cleared of the charges against him and set free again. And even more important, Max and I must learn to understand each other. He knows and I know how silly it is for him to be jealous, and Max must cure himself of it. But until he does, I can't take chances with anything as important to us as our love. Our marriage came very close to ending on the rocks. I must be careful that the old marital ship stays in smooth water.
In other words, you ain't going to ask Bill to go Max's bail, huh?
I don't know, Daddy. I don't know.
Well, what about it, Mary? Someone has got to put up the bail for Max, or Proust and Davis will have everything in the town sewed up very neatly. And the Sanders' interest will be no longer the Sanders' interest.
sound off for Chesterfield. Low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. For the past 3 weeks, a lone thief has been victimizing stores and check-cashing agencies. You've got a description of the man, but so far you've failed to identify him. Your job? Get him. Before you buy your next pack of cigarettes, think this over. A doctor has been examining a group of Chesterfield smokers with special attention to the nose, throat, and sinuses. His latest report, after a full year and a half, says no adverse effects from smoking Chesterfield. Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield, regular or king size, they're low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Friday, June 10th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detective Stad Brown. My name's Friday. We'd gotten a call that there'd been a holdup, and it was 10:36 a.m. when we got to the corner of Alvarado and Catalina Streets, the Harrison Check Cashing Agency.
I'm sorry, you'll have to come back. We've had some trouble and we're not open for business. Come back in about an hour.
Police officer, sir.
Oh, well, where have you been? I was held up, held right up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fellows in the police car was here. They told me that you'd come out. Well, where have you been? It's taken you long enough. Didn't you use the siren?
Yes, sir. We came out as soon as we got the call.
Just seems us taxpayers would get better service than that.
Well, sir, the call just came in 4 minutes ago.
Oh. Well, all right then. Well, now let me tell you all about it.
Yes, sir, if you would, please.
Oh, you just bet I would. Well, now, first off, I had trouble sleeping last night. I knew right off it was going to be a bad day. I can always tell, when I've had a bad night, the next day's always a doozy.
Did you give the officers in the radio car a description of the man?
Yes, sir. I sure did. I gave it to them right off. Now, you going to let me tell you all about the holdup?
Yes, sir, if you go ahead, please.
Well, I had a bad night. Real bad. I knew... Say, my name's Harrison. Abel Harrison. I don't think I got your fellows' names.
Oh, this is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Oh,
how do you do?
Glad to know you, yeah. Darn fool next door kept pounding the typewriter all night. He never let up.
Sir?
The man next door, that's why I didn't get any sleep. Some crackpot trying to be a writer. Oh, it's an awful thing. All night long. Dit, ding, dit, ding, all night. Not a wink of sleep.
Yes, sir. If you just tell us about the robbery, please.
You ain't interested, huh?
Well, no, sir, it isn't that. It's just that the more time we lose here, the harder it's going to be to apprehend the suspect. You can understand that.
Oh, well, yeah.
Now, maybe if you just answer some questions for us, it might be easier and possibly a little faster. Huh?
Okay. Fire away.
What time did the man come in?
About 10:12.
Was he alone?
Yep.
Did it look like there might have been anybody else with him?
Nope.
Do you know if he drove an automobile?
Couldn't tell.
I see. Well, would you tell us exactly what he said and what he did from the time that you first saw him?
Came in, 10:12, had a gun, walked over to me, pointed the gun, told me to stick up. That the way you fellows want it?
Well, you just relax, Harrison, will you, and tell the story in your own words.
I'm trying to do just that.
Yes, sir.
Maybe if I went slower, it'll be easier for you boys.
All right, sir, you go right ahead.
Well, he came in, stood around for a minute, then come over to the counter. I asked him if I could help him.
Uh-huh.
We cash checks, payroll checks. First off, I thought that's what he wanted, to cash a check. Wasn't, though. I asked him what he wanted, and he pulled out the gun. Told me to keep quiet and hand him the money. Pointed the gun right at my heart, right here. My heart. Are you with me so far, boys?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
So I gave him the money, all there was in the drawer.
I see, sir. About how much was taken, Mr. Harrison?
About $1,500. He just took the paper money. He didn't want the silver. Had 2 paper bags. Looked like he carried his lunch in them. All kind of wrinkles, you know.
Yes, sir.
Had me put the money in them. Then he told me to lay down on the floor. Lay there and count to 100 by ones. Told me not to move until I'd finished. He said if I did, he'd come back and kill me. The way he told me, you knew he meant it. After that, he left.
All right, sir.
What if you can give us a description of the man?
Sure, but already gave one to the other cops. Ain't that enough?
We'd like to have you tell us, if you would, Mr. Harrison.
Oh, them other fellows don't work with you, huh?
Well, yes, sir, they do. But we'd just like you to describe the man to us.
Well, what's the matter? What they tell you?
Well, yes, Mr. Harrison, they'll tell us, but the questions they ask you are for getting out a broadcast. We have to fill out a report and try to get the man who did this.
Oh. Seems like a pretty funny way to operate. Don't tell the other cops what's going on.
How tall was the man, Harrison?
Well, let's see. I'd say about 5 feet, maybe 8 to 10 inches.
Mm-hmm. How much did he weigh, would you know?
I'm just guessing, you nosy. I'm not sure.
Yes, sir, we understand.
Well, I'd say he weighed maybe, 150, right around in there.
How old was he, would you know?
Maybe 25, 26.
How about his coloring? Was he dark or light complected?
No, dark. He had black hair, brown eyes, mean-looking eyes, like steel balls. Kind you pick up with vacuum cleaners. Steel, hard.
Yes, sir. How was he dressed?
Had a pair of Levi's on. Levi's and a blue shirt. He had a brown leather jacket on, too, one with a fur collar.
Was he clean-shaven?
Oh, yes. His face looked like he just had a shave. And a talcum powder on it.
Do you wear glasses, sir?
Yeah?
What kind were they?
I couldn't tell you, just glasses.
Well, did they have metal or plastic frames?
Oh, plastic, yes. Light, kind of tan plastic. Heavy, the kind that don't have the little curly things around the ears. Just big pieces that went over the top.
Mm-hmm. Did the man touch anything with his hands?
No, he didn't. The other officers asked me that, too. He didn't touch a thing.
Was anybody else present at the time?
No one else. I was the only one here.
Well, the man have any marks or scars that you noticed?
No, leastways not that I saw.
Was there anything unusual about him? Anything that might help us identify him?
Well, that mustache should help.
Sir?
His mustache. I think it was phonier than a $3 bill. Looked like it to me.
Well, I thought you said the man was clean-shaven.
I did. All around the mustache. I didn't think he meant like that. He's probably clean-shaven under that, too. Sure looked phony to me.
Why do you say that?
It was red. He was dark. Had black hair, black eyebrows. Don't seem like he'd come up with a red mustache. Seem like it to you?
It's hard to say, sir.
Don't seem like it to me, not at all. I tell you something else.
What's that, sir?
I think them glasses was fake, too. Glass in them was funny, like it hadn't been ground, kind of flat. I think they was phony, just like the duster.
Duster?
Mustache. Red mustache with black hair. Phony.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. And we'd like you to come down to the office and look at some other pictures, if you would, see if you can identify the man.
Be glad to. Well, I'll not do it today, though.
Why is that, sir?
Well, I already told you had a picture of him down there. I'd probably miss him. This has been a real bad day for me. Well, tomorrow will be better, though.
Why is that, sir?
Gonna get some sleep tonight.
That's all?
Bribed the landlady.
Yeah?
She let me in his room. I took it.
What's that, sir?
Ain't gonna do much typing without his ribbon, is he?
For the past 3 weeks, we'd heard the same story. A man had entered a check-cashing agency or a small neighborhood store and at gunpoint taken all the currency. Each time, he'd hit just after the owner or the manager had come back from the bank. The descriptions we'd gotten in each theft was the same. Each of the victims looked over the mug books, but they were unable to identify the suspect. The stats office had made an MO run going back 10 years. The leads they turned up were run down, but they led us nowhere. Communications to George Brereton up at CII in Sacramento had turned up no new information. We were right where we were after the first robbery. We had a suspect we couldn't identify, a suspect that we couldn't find. 10:45 a.m., the latest victim closed up his place of business and started to accompany us downtown. As we walked out of the store, a police car pulled up to the curb. In the back seat was a man of about 25 years of age. The officer told us that they'd caught the man running down an alley 3 blocks away. The man who matched the description of the thief identified himself as Rudy Martin. While the radio car officer stood by, we took the suspect over to our car to see April Harrison, the victim.
Caught him already, huh?
Is this the man who held you up, sir?
Let me get out and take a good look.
All right.
Tell him to turn sideways, north and south.
All right, sir.
No, I'll turn sideways. That's him.
Are you sure?
That's the man, even without his mustache and glasses, I can tell.
He's lying. He don't know what he's saying.
Don't you talk that way to me, young fella. And where's my money, huh? What'd you do with my money?
I haven't got it. I never took any money from you or anybody else. You're crazy.
I'll teach you to talk to me like
Harrison,
that.
never mind. Now, if we need anything more, we'll be back to talk to you.
You mean you ain't going to take me downtown now that you caught the fella?
No, sir, we'll get in touch with you later.
You make him tell you where he hid the money. $1,500, all in paper. You make him tell you.
All right, sir, we'll do that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, I'll be right here. Anything you want me to do, just give a holler. I want to see this fella get what's coming to him.
Yes, sir. Here's our card, and you can call us if you need to.
Yeah, you do that. And make him tell you what he done with the money.
Oh, you want to get back, Martin?
I'll check with the radio car, Joe. You want him to follow us to the office?
Yeah, tell him we'll take Martin here to the robbery division. We'll check him later.
Right.
All right, Martin, put your hands up as high as you can.
With handcuffs on?
With them on.
You ain't going to find anything.
All right, get them up.
See, I told you. This is a bad thing that man did. I haven't done anything to him. I didn't take his money.
Settle back, Martin. Back in the seat. You ever seen that man before?
No, I haven't.
Is he mad at you for any reason?
I told you I never saw him before.
Well, he says he knows you. He says you held him up a little while ago.
He's crazy.
Why'd he say something like that without a reason?
I don't know.
Your wallet back here?
Yeah.
All right, slide up a little. Any money in it?
No, I got some change, maybe 40, 50 cents. Just a few cards there, and a couple of phone numbers, that's all. There's no money.
Mm-hmm. Who's this? This Johnny Salvatore.
He's a friend of mine.
Chris Turan.
Another friend. They haven't done nothing. They're both nice guys. And look, you got no right to do this. You got no right to arrest
I
me.
just want to talk to you. If you haven't done anything wrong, then you haven't got anything to worry about, have you?
That sounds good, but what am I doing sitting here in this car with you?
All right, now tell us the real story, huh?
I ain't nothing to tell. I was over by Central Avenue when these two cops came by and picked me up. I wasn't doing anything.
Officers say you were running down an alley. They say that you wouldn't stop when they told you to. Now, how about all that?
I was scared. You can see how that had happened, can't you?
What'd you do with the gun?
Wasn't any gun.
The victim says it was.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You registered for the draft, Martin?
Yeah.
Well, where's your draft card?
Isn't it in the wallet?
No, it isn't.
Guess I must have lost it.
You ever been arrested? Did you hear me, Martin? How about it?
Yeah, a couple of times.
What for?
Back.
Where?
Here, back east.
Where back east?
KC.
You sure that's all?
Yeah.
What were you doing in that alley this morning?
I was on my way to see a guy.
Who?
A friend of mine.
Okay, Joe.
Yeah?
I'll call in. We can get started.
Right.
1K80 to Control 1. 1K80 to Control 1.
Control 1 to 1K80. Go ahead.
Prisoner in custody. Show us out to room 27A, City Hall. KMA 367.
Roger, 1K80. KMA 367.
You all set?
Yeah, let's go. Now, who's this friend you're going to see, Martin?
You have to know that?
We have to know.
Chris Tarrant.
What are we going to see him about?
Job. He said he could line one up for him.
Where do you live?
Room and house down on Wall.
All right, you want to tell us what you did with that money?
What money? I don't know how to tell you any better. I didn't have anything to do with that guy. I don't know nothing about any robbery. I was on my way to see a friend about a job. A couple of cops picked me up. That's all there is to it, nothing more. If you think you can make this thing stick, then you go right ahead. I don't think you can.
Well, we got a lot of time, Martin.
So have I. I got nothing to do. Night's sleep and a couple of meals. That's what I stand to come up with. I got no problems. Go ahead, lock me up. You're going to have to let me go. I don't care what the old guy says. I didn't hold him up. Not him nor anybody else can say I did.
The clothes you got on match the ones the hold-up man wore.
So what? A lot of people wear these kind of clothes.
The victim identified you.
The guy made a mistake. I told you that.
All right, Martin, you called it. I hope you know what you're talking about. The victim of the robbery identified you, and there's 5 more we think we can tie you into. We make you on the rest of them, you got real trouble here. Now, you'll save us and yourself a lot of time if you'll tell us the truth.
You wouldn't know it if you saw it.
Well, there's one way to find out, isn't there?
Yeah?
Try us. 10:52 a.m. We took the suspect back to the city hall, and we talked to him for over 3 hours. He refused to admit any knowledge of the holdups. We checked him through R&I, and we came up with the arrest record that he told us about. In checking his record, we found that the suspect was wanted for draft evasion. In the meantime, the other victims of the holdup man had been brought down to the office. The suspect was placed in a show-up with several other persons. They all failed to identify Martin as the thief. In checking further with the last victim, Harrison, he stated that he'd probably made a wrong identification. We had a search of Martin's room made, but we were unable to come up with anything. The 2 friends he'd mentioned were checked out, but there was no record on either one of them. The suspect was turned over to the federal authorities for prosecution on the draft evasion charge. We were right back where we started 3 weeks before. The next morning, Saturday, June 11th, we started all over again. This time we went back into the files 15 years. Anybody who even vaguely matched the description was checked out. The M.O. of the thief was rechecked. The machines came up with an additional 17 possibles. Each of these were checked out. It took us 2 weeks, and at the end of that time, we were back where we started again. We had nothing but a description that apparently didn't match anybody in our files, and an M.O. that didn't fit any known criminal. During the time that we'd been checking out leads, the bandit was inactive. Additional cars from Metro Division had been assigned to the detail, and rolling stakeouts were maintained around check-cashing agencies throughout the city. The hold-up man had apparently dropped from sight. Saturday, June 25th. I checked into the office.
Robbery, Smith. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Ben. Huh? Oh, just a minute. Little John. You see him, Joe?
No, I don't think he's here. Little John? No, he's not here.
No, Ben, he isn't here. All right, wait a minute. I'll check the book. Yeah, here. No, I left about an hour ago. Yeah, I'll be back. Want me to call you? Okay, wait a minute.
Here's a pencil.
Uh-huh. 0281? Right, yeah. Okay, Ben.
I got something here. Teletype from San Diego from Hewen and Davis.
Yeah? What is it?
I'll read it to you. R.E. your APB, dated June 10th, R.E. robbery. Robbery occurred this city last night. M.O. and description matches your suspect. We have identification as Jerry Lane, San Diego number 146382. Are sending mug shots.
Huh, looks like a break.
Well, it might have been. You didn't let me finish.
Yeah?
He got away. 12:15 p.m. A special delivery letter arrived from San Diego with the mug shots of Jerry Lane. There was also a note from Sergeant Carl Davis. He explained that the suspect had held up a small liquor store in the city and had badly beaten the owner. A witness was shown the mug books and was able to pick out the bandit. He was identified as a Jerry Lane. He had only one arrest record, and that was for a misdemeanor offense in San Diego County. We checked the name through our identification bureau, but there was no record on him in our files. The mug shots for San Diego had been taken over 4 years previously, but the victims of the robberies in Los Angeles had no trouble identifying it, even without the glasses and the mustache. Additional broadcasts were gotten out carrying the name, and radiograms were sent to Washington and to Sacramento requesting any available information. Another week passed while the search went on. During that time, the hold-up man hit once more, this time in National City, just south of San Diego. From the reports we got, the M.O. matched the one previously used. The suspect made good his escape. Tuesday morning, 11:30 a.m. Frank and I had been out running down a lead. We just got back to the office.
Well, there's another one that didn't go anyplace.
Yeah?
You know, Joe, if somebody could figure out a way to filter out the bad leads, it'd sure save a lot of legwork, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess I'll get it. Robbery Friday. Yeah, all right. It's Hewen.
Yeah?
Hi, Pappy. Yeah. When was that? Yeah, anything on him? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you're probably right. Well, I guess the only thing we can do is put out another broadcast. Yeah. No, nothing up here. What'd you say? Right, yeah. Well, if anything else turns up, let us know, will you? Right. Oh, wait a minute. Say hello to Carl. All right, Pappy. Yeah, we'll be talking to you. Right. Thanks. Bye.
What's he got?
Well, it's our suspect, Jerry Lane.
Yeah?
He's going to have to stand for more than a 211 charge now.
What do you mean?
Latest victim just died.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
It's so satisfying to know that my Chesterfield is low in nicotine, highest in quality.
Chesterfield, low in nicotine, highest in quality. A fact proved by chemical analyses of the country's 6 leading cigarette brands.
And it's so satisfying to know that a doctor who has been making thorough examinations, especially of the nose, throat, and sinuses, reports no adverse effects from smoking Chesterfields.
His report is a part of a program supervised by a responsible research laboratory and is based on thorough bi-monthly examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers over a period of a year and a half.
That's 18 full months now. Don't you want to smoke a cigarette with a record like this? Regular or king size.
Chesterfield is low in nicotine, highest in quality. Best for me, best for you.
From the information we got on the phone, it looked like Jerry Lane would be headed for Los Angeles.
One of the witnesses to the latest robbery said that the suspect drove away in either a 1942 Plymouth or a Dodge Coupe. The color of the car was listed as either a dark blue or black. Descriptions of the car and of the suspect were printed up and distributed to all law enforcement agencies between Los Angeles and the Mexican border. Al Gayton from the San Diego department got in touch with the Mexican authorities, and a close check was kept on all cars crossing into Mexico. According to our information, Jerry Lane had robbed at least 8 places and stolen a little under $9,000 in a period of 6 weeks. While we continued our investigation, the San Diego authorities followed up the leads they had. In the course of checking out the friends and associates listed on Lane's arrest record, they came up with the information that he had at one time been employed as a musician in a downtown nightclub. They interviewed the employees of the place, but they were not able to get a definite lead on the suspect. With the mugshot that they'd sent us, and knowing that he was a professional musician, we checked with the local office of the Musicians Union. They told us that he was not in good standing, and they were unable to give us the address of the suspect, but they did give us the name and address of a bar where he'd worked several years before. At 8:30 p.m. that night, Frank and I talked to one of the waitresses in the place.
No, they cut out the band a year or so ago. Not enough business to keep it going.
Uh-huh. Did you work here when they did have a band?
Sure, I've been here since they remodeled the place. Been 4 years anyway. Hey, you fellas like a drink? Be on the house.
No, thank you.
No, ma'am.
You know a man named Jerry Lane?
What does he do?
Well, he's a musician. We understand he plays clarinet.
Lane. Yeah, it seems to me I do remember him. Not too tall, kind of nice looking if you went for the type. Yeah, I remember him.
You know where we can get in touch with him?
No, I haven't got the slightest idea. Had to be a pretty big lush. Had to let him go. Union told him lay off the booze, but he didn't pay no attention. Always showing up late. A real lush.
Possible the owner might know where he is?
It isn't likely. I'm married to the owner. I know most of the stuff that goes on around here.
I see. Can you give us any idea where we might be able to get a lead on him? Some of his friends? Maybe another musician?
No. Hey, wait a minute.
Ma'am?
I might know someone. Let me make a phone call.
Well, if you give us the phone number, we can put in the call.
No, I'd rather not do that. You see, this girl used to see a lot of Jerry. Maybe she don't want to get mixed up in a thing like this. I'll call her and find out. If she knows, she'll tell me. If she doesn't, there's no harm done.
Okay.
Got a dime?
Just a minute. Here's 2 nickels.
Thanks.
I'd rather you leave the door open, if you will.
All right. Hello, may I speak to Betty Hodgin, please? Yes. All right. They're calling her.
Good.
Nice girl. Never figured out what she saw in Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Betty? Betty, this is Naomi. Just fine. You? Oh, yeah, he's fine. Say, Betty, I hate to bother you, but do you know where I can get in touch with Jerry Lane? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, wait a minute. Have you got a pencil?
Yeah. Here you go.
Now, what's the address, Betty? Uh-huh. Yeah, I got it. No, it's nothing serious, no. No, business isn't that good. Yeah, we still got the piano. Sure, gonna keep it. Right. Well, thanks, Betty. You guys are in luck.
Yes, ma'am?
Here's the address. The club down on 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Betty says he's there almost every night.
9:42 p.m. We called the office and had another team of men sent out. We notified homicide detail that we'd picked up another lead, and they sent out a team of men to give us any help that we might need in apprehending the suspect. The address we'd been given was the Georgetown Club, a small place on West 6th Street. When we got there, the place was crowded, and the band was in the middle of the second set. We checked with one of the bartenders.
Sure. That's Jerry playing clarinet. See? Gray suit.
Yeah, does he work here?
No, he shows up almost every night, sits in with the band. Union doesn't like it. They talk to the boss about it. He's trying to get the bum out of here. Causes a lot of trouble.
That right?
Sure. Always he comes in drunk, or else he acts like he's high on dope. You want me to get in for it?
Yeah, tell him there are a couple of friends who'd like to talk to him, will you?
I'll do it right now. You don't want me to say you're cops?
No, we don't.
I didn't think so. Okay, I get it.
Thank you.
Some place they got here, huh?
Yeah, sure is crowded, isn't it?
Right. Better watch him. He's probably armed.
Yeah, let's get him outside. It'd be easier to take there. Too many people here.
Yeah, the bartender's got him now.
All right. Well, let's let him get outside before we move away.
Right.
There he goes. Come on.
Said a couple of friends. Where are they?
You said they would be here. Now, wait a minute. Here they are.
Oh. I know you. Where do I know you fellas from?
You Jerry Lane?
Yeah. What do you want to see me about? I gotta get back in there.
If you fellas don't need me no more, I'll get back to work, huh?
Yeah, thanks a lot. Go ahead.
No problem.
I know what's this all about. I don't know you guys.
Police officers, you're under arrest.
What for?
Frank? Yeah. Stand still.
What are you trying to do? You got nothing on me.
Stand still.
You stay away from me, cop. Now leave me alone.
All right, hold it up, mister. All right, now come on your feet. Get up.
Now stand still. He's clean, Joe. Now put your hands behind you.
I didn't do anything. You got no reason to shove me around. Cut my mouth. It's bleeding.
Yeah, well, that makes two of us, mister.
What are you after me for? What have I done? I have too much to drink? Is that it? I wasn't bothering anybody in there.
It's a nice try, Lane, but it won't work. We got a half a dozen positive identifications on you for robbery.
I didn't hurt anybody.
You killed a man.
Yeah. The last one, I heard he died. Is it true? Did he die?
That's right.
I didn't know what I was doing, you know. I wasn't responsible. I just didn't feel so good. It wasn't my fault. He wouldn't give me the money. I didn't know what I was doing. That's going to make a difference, isn't it? I didn't know what I was doing.
I wouldn't know about that, Lane. It's going to be up to the jury, but you can bet on one thing.
What's that?
They'll know what they're doing.
The story you have just heard is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
On December 17th, trial was held in Department 92, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
And now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, the big Labor Day weekend is coming up, so make sure you have plenty of Chesterfields. Get a couple of cartons when you do your weekend shopping. Now, I can tell you why you should be smoking Chesterfields in just 10 words. Chesterfield, low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you.
Gerald Carlisle Lane was tried and convicted of murder in the first degree and was executed in the lethal gas chamber at the State Penitentiary, San Quentin, California. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Vic Rodman, Lillian Baeff, Harry Bartell. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely new Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspaper for the day and time.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Have you tried new cork-tipped Fatima? It's the smooth smoke. Here's why. New Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for longer filtering. And Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. Remember, Fatima has the tip for your lips. Try new Fatima. See how smooth it is. Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
The American Broadcasting Company presents Pat Novak For Hire.
I'm Pat Novak. For hire. That's what the sign out in front of my office says, Pat Novak for hire. It's about the only way to make a living down on the waterfront in San Francisco. Because if you ever tried to practice the 10 Commandments down here, they'd steal 9 of them and frame you with the other. So I rent boats and do whatever else comes in handy to make a buck change pockets. Sometimes the hustle pays off. Sometimes you get lumps instead. Last week it was neither of these. I hung around my place at Pier 19 day after day and nothing turned up at all. Just when I began to wonder if people had forgotten how to phone, a babe gives me a jingle. She sounds nervous and talks about trouble. Asked me to come up and hold her hand. I ended up at a joint on the marina slant of Webster Street. It was probably important stuff once in the way of gold-plated living. Now it's just a tired wooden boarding house with about 30 people filling up space designed for a dozen. The paint was peeling off the walls. The garden had been on its own so long it was beginning to look like a jungle. When I rang the doorbell, I'd have given even odds a zombie would open it. I was nearly right at that. It was Hellman, a detective from City Homicide with a disposition made up of equal parts of hating people and confusion. Right then, though, he wasn't himself. His fat face was wrapped in smiles. He looked like a cat who'd learned to open the icebox.
Sorry, Novak, we don't want any fish today.
You're being glad. Somebody must have broken their neck.
You're wrong. Again, and as usual.
Somebody had some sort of bad luck.
As bad as you can get.
Dead, huh?
You're too late this time, Novak. The killer's already in the bag.
And you got the drawstring.
I'm not complaining. Now scamper off somewhere and find another sucker.
Put the brush away, Hellman. If you got the killer, it's even money. It turns out to be 4 other people.
I don't know. The department managed before you dragged into town. We stumbled, but we got by.
You can say that about a wine bum.
I can make it fit you. Stumble on out of here, Novak.
Yeah. But first, who done it?
The landlady. She evicted a guy named Burke, the hardware. He didn't live here. He rented a room for some kind of an office. He was a freelance bookkeeper. She said he made too much noise working his machines at night.
Did she confess?
It's open and shut, Novak. No room for your chisel.
Well, if she confessed, maybe you can pin it on her.
What do you mean, pin it on her?
The way you work, you couldn't prove Warren's governor.
That's not my department, but keep on being smart and see if I can prove you'll fit in one of our cells down in Kearney Street.
Don't strain your head, Hellman. I don't want any part of anything you're near, including this place.
I'll buy that, too, and I'll breeze out of here.
When the press shows up, don't worry about giving them your best profile. Either way, you'll look like a sack of potatoes.
Either way, you look like a sack of potatoes. Gee, that's good, Novak.
Before you tell Hellman that, you better go somewhere and grow a little.
Look, Novak, how'd you like a tip on a horse? I got a hot one in the 5th at Del Mar tomorrow.
I got a tip for you. Get out of my hair before I have to comb you out.
Gee, Novak, that's no way to talk. I could be your friend.
The guy was small, even for a midget. Since the rooming house was so full of interesting people, I decided I didn't want to go away after all. So I went back up the steps. Was just going to try my luck when the door opens from inside. The guy with the welcome is either middle-aged or he's done a lot of careful living. His face is as smooth and as neat as a barrel full of apples. You notice it because he acts like he forgot his face when he went into his act. The rest of him is as mysterious as an addict in a B horror picture. I didn't need any puzzles right then, so I started to brush him off. Especially when I noticed the suit. It was so ragged it looked like he was made up to put the bum on the town. But then I decided to play it for the laughs.
How would you like to make some heavy money in a hurry?
I quit buying oil wells.
I'm not fooling, would you?
Who are you?
Name's Jack Lansom. I'm Burke's assistant, or used to be.
Yeah, he looks like quick, easy money. For an undertaker.
For you, too.
Sure. Why not? And how?
Burke has some papers in his home safe that I don't want pawed over by any flatfoot snooper. They're my papers. Burke just kept them there for me. I want you to get them.
I don't see any splints on your leg.
I can walk, but I can't leave. Hellman's going to question all the tenants.
So what do I do?
Go to this address. It's on Nob Hill. Here are the keys. It's a wall safe, not a combination. Just 2 locks you have to open at the same time. The papers are in a sealed envelope marked Lansom Private. Get it and bring it here.
I don't know. When a guy dies, the feds move in. They'll want to list his stuff for taxes.
These aren't financial papers. They're just some private letters and things.
I don't like flirting with the FBI.
How would you like to flirt with $1,000?
If the stuff's worth that much, it must be hot.
I need those papers. Do you get them for me, or do I phone somebody else?
I could change my mind.
Here's $100. There's 900 more when the stuff's in my hands.
You had me fooled there. You don't dress to fit this kind of dough.
So I save my money. Are you going or not?
Give me the keys.
Lots of luck, Novak.
Hey, Novak, wait a minute. About that horse.
Go get a glass of water and drown yourself. It looked like a cinch. I flagged the cab up to the place on Mount Hill. It turned out to be one of those society page joints, all glass, brick, and snobby doorman. Getting up to Burke's floor was as easy as walking up 6 flights of back stairs. The hall was empty and the key fitted. It was all so easy I began to get nervous. And you would, too, if you walked in on her that way. She was a toy-sized brunette with a perfect kind of face that could mean anything from nice people to quick death. She was smooth and beautiful. As you could say that about a whirlpool. If my breaking in bothered her, you'd never guess it from looking.
Oh, hello. Toss your hat on a chair.
I've been working the wrong districts.
I'm glad you're here.
Why, for instance?
Girl gets lonely in a place like this. Berkey's out, and I don't know when he'll get back.
You forgot something there.
Folks call me Blanche. What's your name, friend?
Pat Novak. You go with the lease?
I'm, in and out. Berkey doesn't like me to tell it, though, but everybody knows it, so, what kind of secret's that?
Didn't I surprise you when I walked in like that?
Berkey has a lot of friends. They come and go. I'm used to it.
For a bookkeeper, Berkey does all right.
He's, good at figures, don't you think?
If he had my account, I'd be nervous.
Don't you know? He just came into a lot of money.
I'll bet that's a comfort to his client.
Oh, to me, too. Have a cigarette. There's some in the box there on the coffee table.
These are cigars.
Oh? Oh, yeah, well, I have some in my purse.
Never mind. I'll settle for a drink.
Okay. What'll it be?
What do you got?
It's kind of hard to say offhand. Let's look in the kitchen and see. It ought to be up here.
But it isn't. I knew a girl that way once.
Berkey must have moved the bottles. Look around. Try those cabinets. Oh, I'll get there.
Hey, wait a minute. Take it easy.
What's the matter? Jumpy?
Good evening, Miss. Is Mr. Novak in?
Yeah, I'm in. You and your horse are both out.
But Mr. Novak, it's a good horse.
You always come in crowds?
Yeah, that's Pinky. He's been on my tail all night. Aren't you curious about why I'm here?
You must be a friend of Burke's.
Would it matter?
What do you mean?
When you get tired of playing with those doors, let's admit you don't know where Burke keeps his doors. You don't know where he keeps his cigarettes. You don't know anything about the place because this is the first time you've been here.
You're acting like a detective.
Put it down, I'm just curious. And you can still fill in my question.
Why not say I, wandered into the wrong apartment?
You don't seem anxious to get out.
Maybe I like the company here. Come on in the living room. He probably has the liquor in there.
That isn't what you were after.
Why don't we settle for my being lonely?
The town's full of lonely babes. None of them look like you.
I know a cure. Do you?
Let me guess.
Well, I guess when you can be sure. Like this.
Now I know. Fill me in on the rest of your visit.
I'm busy. Or, I could be.
All right, let's close the post office. Did you get the papers?
I could sulk. Men don't usually treat me that way.
They'd live longer if they did. Look, baby, I'm not swinging any bats until I know who's pitching. Do you give with where you fit in, or do I have to bend it out of you?
You know, I think I get like you. The dame gets tired of men she can twist around her fingers.
Yeah, sure. I'm fascinating. Give.
Don't flex your muscles. I'll tell you. Denver Red sent me.
You're sure it wasn't Pittsburgh Pete or Chicago Clark?
He's real. If you aren't too particular about what you call a man. He owns a nightclub called the Knife and Fork out on Geary Street.
Then what?
He sent me to get some papers Burke has hidden around the place. A small envelope.
Did you find it?
Sure. Here it is. You want it?
You give up easy.
I don't have to do this sort of thing to get along. I told Red that.
What else are you going to tell him?
I'll tell him you took the papers away from me. Unless you got a better idea.
Put down your flaps, sister.
What if I didn't go back to him? What if I went with you?
I don't like your recommendations.
Don't worry. I won't pretend I wouldn't drop you as soon as I found a better man. What do you want? Eternity?
I haven't got time for that.
All right, sucker. So, I'll go back to Red. He tears telephone books in half and things like that, so, watch him.
I'll try to manage.
Oh, here's the booze. Let's drink to something or other.
Why not?
You sure you won't change your mind? About anything?
Why don't you leave me your phone number?
I got a better idea. Sucker.
She timed it, but nice. I hardly started to get my hand up before she hit me with a bottle. The room began to spin, and I tried to stand up, but my knees gave way. I could hear her footsteps a long distance away, running, when the door closed. I shook my head, and some of the cobwebs went away, but not enough for me to get started. By the time they did, I knew it was too late. I looked around, and the package of papers was gone. Yeah, the more I thought of how easily I'd been done in by that dame, the madder I got. Then I remembered no one was supposed to know about the papers except Lansom. Decided I better check on the play. I got on the phone and talked my way through a flock of bars until I ran down an alcoholic friend of mine named Jocko Madigan. He's an old-timer around San Francisco who knows more about the town than the city planning commission. He sounded good over the phone, which must have meant they were watering his drinks.
Patsy, my boy, how are you?
Curious. I'm sitting in on a racket that's beginning to develop too many curves.
You sound like you're in a Girl Scout camp. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, you nasty, immoral,
Put down the horn for a minute. I want you to do me a favor.
If I had a daughter and you were even in the neighborhood, I'd lock her in the cellar. I can't imagine what those Boy Scout leaders are thinking about.
They were Girl Scouts a minute ago.
What did they do, pull a switch? Anyway, Boy Scouts don't camp, they hike.
Look, I just got sapped by a dame who stole some papers.
Up Mount Tamalpais, they hike. That's
Her name's Blanche. She's tied in with a guy named Denver Wren. He runs the Knife and Fork Club out on Geary.
Oh, those poor kids. And that mountain's almost straight up, too.
She just left here. She ought to be heading for Denver Red's place.
What are the papers? I know you don't own them. You can't read.
They have some stuff in them that'll put the heat on a guy named Jack Lansom. He likes it cool. $1,000 worth.
Oh, speaking of money, there's a friend of yours here.
Hello, Patsy. This is Pinky. Imagine me talking to you on the telephone.
Imagine I've gone deaf. Hey, Jocko, if you can hear this, pull that punk off the line.
Okay, he's gone. He said he had a horse for you.
Look, dummy up to that guy. He's been floating around all night.
And I'd be floating, too, if you'd be nice to him.
I'll grab a cab and go out to the Knife and Fork Club. When Blanche shows up, see if you can find out what she does with the papers.
Are you buying the drinks and the cab fare?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I'm going back and see Lansom. This was supposed to be a closed deal, and will you hurry? The dame will be there and gone.
Don't worry about me. You couldn't keep me away from the place. I'm growing wings.
Yeah? Why the sudden lather?
Well, if you're buying the drinks, there's no use my scrimping. I'm suddenly developing an awful longing for some good, well-aged scotch. So long, lover.
I ducked out of the place and started along the street looking for a cab. It was growing foggy, and I couldn't see very well. In fact, I could see so little I didn't notice the car drive up. I could hear the driver all right.
All right, Bub, inside the car.
You must not like arguments.
Don't think it won't shoot either. Get in. You're Patsy Novak, ain't you?
You can say Patsy twice.
Don't sulk. I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah, thanks for the ride.
I'm Reynolds. Gong Reynolds. Ever hear of me?
Yeah. You sell pipe dreams.
If you know that much, you know that shoveling the snow ain't no job for a preacher.
So you're tough. Then what?
And you give me Burke's little envelope.
What is this, a mass meeting?
You pass it over, or do we have to go out in the country and get it twisted out of you?
You're wrong twice. I haven't got it.
You must think I'm foolish.
Someone beat me to it.
Who, Murphy?
Murphy.
Yeah, the bookie. Did he get it?
A dame. She said she was working for Denver Red.
Out at the Knife and Fork? Yeah, that sounds all right.
Hey, what's up?
You don't know?
I was hired to pick it up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I believe that.
Take it or leave it, but let me out of here.
Don't get nervous. Wait till we hit a quiet street.
I'm broad-minded. Let me off anywhere.
I said a quiet street. Before you go, I'm going to search you. How do I know you ain't lying?
I'm beginning to wonder myself. Reynolds was a nice guy for an opium peddler. No bumps, no scars. He even dropped me near a car line. Pretty soon I began to breathe regularly again and headed back to the place on Webster Street. The house was dark except for a light in one of the upstairs windows. Just as I was leaning on the bell, I hear someone coming up the steps behind me.
I wish you'd stay put, Mr. Novak. Now, about that horse. He's a beautiful animal. Affectionate.
Look, I'm tired of this shadow act. What's your pitch?
Straight over the plate, Novak. I'm doing you a favor. Someday I may need one from you. I'm far-sighted.
Well, I'm nearsighted. Come here.
Hey,
Light up and be somebody. What's your racket?
Put me down, Novak. I got connections. You can't scare me.
Yeah, I can try.
Going in for kidnapping midgets, Novak? Put him down and come on in. I don't want to draw a crowd.
Make this the last time I see you, Pinky, or I'll fix it so you wish you had.
Who was that?
I don't know. I'm beginning to get curious.
Forget it. You got the envelope?
No.
Don't sound so cheerful. Why not?
Somebody changed my mind. Too much competition.
Keep it understandable. What do you mean?
Every tough monkey in town is after those papers, and Denver Red has the inside track.
Who else? Tell me about the others.
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't know about them.
I know how you feel. I didn't know a lot of things either, but I'm beginning to learn. Start talking.
Burke used to keep books for a lot of guys around town. That's where he really got his money, covering up the racket profits from the revenue boys.
Don't stop there.
That's all I know.
That's not enough.
All right. I don't know, but I can guess. Burke must have photostats of some of the records and use them to blackmail the gangsters.
So it's a free-for-all with me in the middle.
I didn't know about it. Honest, I didn't.
You didn't know, but I get slapped, sapped, and held up. Good for me.
You say Denver Red got the papers?
And he can have them. I'm bowing out.
Your $100 is nothing, don't you see? Get the papers and we'll both be rich. Richer than anyone in town.
No dice. You want them, you get them.
I'll give you $5,000.
How much down?
Here's the rest of the $1,000 I promised you. Is that fair?
Fair enough.
We're going to be rich, you hear? Rich.
Yeah. The richest men in the cemetery. Lansom must have thought I was the biggest sucker in the city. I was through with the papers as soon as I discovered how hot they were. I could have told him, but when I saw how anxious he was, I figured I might as well use his shakes to get the rest of the $1,000. I headed out to the Knife and Fork, but my only plan was to get Jocko off the hook. After that, I wanted a lot of time in the country until things cooled off. The joint was out near Golden Gate Park, one of those community center places where you get everything that'll go in a stomach, including bicarbonate. The brunette doll was nowhere in sight, but I saw Jocko over at the bar wrestling with a double-sized highball, eased over beside him.
Well, if it isn't the Boy Scout, Patsy Novak.
That stuff's beginning to eat into your head, Jocko.
Don't you worry. My lobes are functioning smooth as ice in a glass. What can I do for you after you pay the bill?
Did the Dame Blanche show up here?
Yeah, about a half hour ago. What kept you? She's pretty.
So's a tiger. Where is she?
She and your friend Denver Red went upstairs. He has an apartment up there. Now, that's the way to live. If he bored a hole in the floor and ran a pipe down to the bar...
Did you see the papers?
No, and do you know a guy named Reynolds, Gong Reynolds?
We've met.
He was in here. He looked around and ducked out.
Did he go upstairs?
I don't know. You're running in big company. Reynolds and Denver Red are two of the most powerful gangsters in town. If they've got anything to do with this, you better cash in your chips and get out of the game.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm all washed up with this.
I heard something else, too. This guy Lanson is no country boy either.
Measure him for me.
The grapevine has it he used to be a member of Murder Incorporated, the Brooklyn outfit. He got out before they grew into big-time operators.
Three of a kind. What do you know about Murphy?
Don't tell me Murphy's in on this. Murphy's got the horse wires sewed up. He sewed it up with bullets. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I will in a minute. How do you get to Denver Red's shack?
The entrance is outside, but what do you care? Let's get out of here.
In a minute.
Patsy, they're hotter than summer in Panama. Leave them alone.
I'd kind of like to see that envelope.
Try the post office. It's full of envelopes.
Yeah, not this one. You coming with me?
No, Patsy. If you've lost your mind, you've lost it alone.
I'm beginning to wonder about that.
Well, so long, lover.
I worked out of the place without causing any fuss. Eased into the apartment entrance. The place was quiet. It was so quiet you could hear me breathing as I worked my way up the stairs. There was a carpet in the halls, but even then I was careful. I listened at the door, and there wasn't a sound inside. After a while, I tried the knob. The door opened. With the fog outside, you could barely make out anything in the place. Something told me to back out and forget it. There was something I wanted to know. I held my breath and listened. All I could hear was the jukebox faintly from the cafe below. And I felt for the light switch.
Don't move. You're covered.
What are you waiting for, Hellman? A payoff?
You, baby. Keep your hands up. Where's the gun?
I ate it.
I guess it wasn't much good at that. You didn't have any bullets left.
You counted them?
I counted the bullets in the body. 6 bullets, 1 load.
Who got it? Or do I have to guess?
Denver Red and his dame. Name's Blanche. Now what?
Yeah, I know her. She used to roll stroke oar in my lifeboat.
She looks the type. You want to tell me about it, or do we go downtown first?
I didn't kill him, Hellman.
Who made those holes in them? Termites?
If they did, you better keep your hat on. They might get hungry again.
You got all the brains, Novak. You better shake them up. You're going to need them.
You ought to get a refund on that crystal ball, Hellman.
That's not a bad idea. Or maybe I can swap it for a television set. I'd like to see you on those San Quentin broadcasts.
You saw me come in, you fathead. You can't pin this one on me.
It's pinned, Novak, but good. In fact, it's a hat pin.
Try making sense.
Try making this knot fit your head.
This is my hat.
Now all you got to do is get rid of the 5 people who saw you lying it earlier this evening at the boarding house, and you're clear.
We were halfway down to the Hall of Justice before I could talk Hellman into giving me another chance. Murphy was really the one who cinched it. I picked him up by phone at one of his bookie joints with Hellman listening in on an extension. Yeah, it was short and sweet.
Novak? Yeah, I've heard the name. What's itching you?
This may not be my business, but I got a good reason for wanting to know.
Spread it out, Novak. I got work to do.
Did you get a phone call tonight about an envelope with some photostatic copies of a bunch of records?
What's it to you, Novak?
You did then.
Yeah, some nut, I guess. Didn't give his name. Town's full of them these days.
He wouldn't be a nut if Burke had something on you.
Hey, what is this? Burke's got nothing on me. I pay my taxes. What is this, Novak? Some new form of shakedown?
Yeah, Murphy. But you're not up the tree. Thanks a lot.
Hey, it could fit.
Do I get a chance to prove it?
I can't let you go, Novak. But what if I should bend over for a minute to pick up this pencil and the door open and all?
Try it and see, Hellman. Just once. After that, I began to figure my bad luck had run out for the day. I jumped a cab and went down to the waterfront, but not to my pier. There was a guy at Pier 23 who was a friend of mine. He had a gun and a rowboat, and I borrowed both of them. I pushed off without being too careful, because between the wind and the cross-chop, nobody was going to be hearing anything. Even with everything on my side, it was a long, hard row. When I hit the bottom of the ladder at the end of Pier 19, I had to sit in the boat to let my heart slow down. It was blacker than the inside of Hellman's dress shoes. I took my time edging down the pier. I was just about to slide into my boathouse when I tripped a booby trap. I did a Brody, and somewhere along the line I lost my gun, which put me even up with Lawson. He turned on the lights.
Novak, you have to sneak up in your own office? You ought to pay the rent regular.
I see the gags. You fix up this welcome?
I was all alone and didn't like the idea of being caught from behind.
What would you do about a frontal attack?
I've got this gun. But since it's only you, I don't have to worry.
I wouldn't say that. I think you've got all kinds of worries.
Everybody has got something.
And you've got Reynolds.
Where is he?
Take it easy. I just saw him earlier tonight, and he mentioned your name.
Let's keep that for the society column. I'll take the envelope.
I didn't get it for the simple reason that there isn't any envelope.
That fall on the head make it soft? You told me you saw it.
Nothing important. Just some regular business letters. Nothing that'd stand up in court.
I still don't understand this. You don't make sense.
And I don't make dough either. I don't have the envelope. Or do you want to search me?
I'm not getting that close to you. You're going off on some tangent that I don't understand. So we'll just sit and wait till you get ready.
Or until Reynolds gets here.
That's supposed to scare me?
Look at it this way. You don't mind if I talk?
I can listen. No, you sit there, with your back to the door. That's right. Now, I'll just warm the place up by closing the door. Now, you were saying?
Suppose that the envelope was a phony. After I am on my way, you call up all the big-time hoods in town and tip them off.
Now, tell me why.
The boys start pouring out of the woodwork to give me the business. And the ones who chase me are the boys on Burke's list. Then you could pick up where he left off. I'm not boring you, am I?
Not at all. Go on.
Everything was as cozy as an upper berth until Denver Red gets his girl into Burke's place before I make it.
You're everything but consistent. Now you'll be trying to tag me with the stiffs down at the Knife and Fork.
Thanks for the cue. You knew that if Denver Red spotted the envelope for a phony, the news would be all over town and your racket would be kaput, so you killed him.
Nice figuring. You should have been a bookkeeper, too.
You even told me to come down here so you could kill me if that planted hat didn't frame for the cops.
I hate to disappoint you. So, since you know everything else, you might as well know the caliber of this gun. See?
I've looked into things like that before.
Everything has to end sometimes, so... Don't touch that phone.
I ordered that call, just in case.
I said don't touch it.
You'll be hearing worse bells than that if you don't let me answer it.
Okay, but watch your language.
Novak speaking.
For a minute I thought you was out. You're the hardest man to get hold of. But I guess it's because you're a busy guy.
Well, say something.
That's right, Reynolds.
Huh? This is Pinky, Mr. Novak, remember? Pinky Punk. What a name.
That's up to you, Reynolds.
What's he saying?
You want to talk to him?
You still there, Mr. Novak? And Mr. Novak...
Give me that phone. Now, look, Reynolds. I'm not taking any talk off you. You pay up or else...
You dropped something, Mr. Novak?
Yeah. How about that horse?
You want to get onto him?
I think I can toss a sawbuck into his feed bag.
Oh, gee, Mr. Novak, you'll never regret it.
Okay, Pinky. Who's the goat? Pinky, I said, what's his name?
Gee, Mr. Novak. What do you know? I forgot.
Pinky might have forgotten, but Lansom's memory was good. I handcuffed him to the chair and told him Reynolds would be down in a half an hour. Then gave him Hellman's phone number. He confessed to everything after sitting alone in my office for a while. I know how he felt. When the feds got the news, they moved in with a fine tooth comb, but they never did turn up anything. Nobody ever did. I'm pretty sure of that. But now and then I get the idea maybe I'm wrong. So I start nosing around for those papers. I never find the things. I usually find Reynolds instead. He's beginning to get gray. Who killed the bookkeeper? That was the landlady. Yeah, Hellman got her a room, too.
Heard on tonight's presentation were Ben Morris as Novak, John Galbraith as Inspector Hellman, Jack Lewis as Jocko, and Mary Milford as Blanche, with Herb Ellis, Jerry Zinneman, Kurt Martell, and Dick Ellers. Special music by Otto Clare. Listen again next week at this same time when over most of these stations, the American Broadcasting Company presents Pat Novak For Hire. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Sound out for Chesterfield. Chesterfield. Low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. In the past 5 weeks, 17 homes in your city have been stripped of all valuables. There's no lead to the thief. No description. Your job, get him. Before you buy your next pack of cigarettes, think this over. A doctor has been examining a group of Chesterfield smokers with special attention to the nose, throat, and sinuses. His latest report, after a full year and a half, says no adverse effects from smoking Chesterfield. Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield, regular or king size, they're low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you.
the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, June 3rd. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Wisdom. My name's Friday. We'd just been relieved from stakeout, and we were on our way to get something to eat. It was 12:27 a.m. when we got to the corner of Fedora and Ardmore Streets. The Cakes and Griddle Cafe.
Here's a couple back here, Joe.
Yeah, that's fine.
What'll it be, fellas? You got a menu?
Up there on the board.
Huh? Oh, yeah. How's the hash?
Doing pretty good. We're out of it.
I didn't think a restaurant was ever out of hash.
We are.
Uh-huh.
You want to give me a stack of wheat cakes, some bacon, and a cup of coffee, please?
Hey, that sounds good. I'll have the same. But make mine plain hot cakes and sausage on the side, will you?
Yeah. Oh, you want the coffee now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Coming up.
Say, put an egg on my hot cakes, huh?
Yeah.
Over light?
Over light.
Yeah. Well, I'm hungry, Joe.
Well, I figured that.
Is that the morning paper you got there?
Yeah, this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Hand it over, will you?
There you are.
Thanks.
What's on the front page?
I'm looking at the sports, Joe.
A lot of news there. Do you want to know what's going on in the world?
Joe, I like the sports. I get the news all the time. My boys, the Hollywood Stars, won again. Puts them 9 up. Looks like they might win the pennant.
Good.
This Dale Long sure knocking them in.
Who?
Dale Long.
Oh.
Joe, you're not much of a baseball fan, are you?
Yeah, I like to watch the series on TV.
It's going to be pretty good. Looks like the Yanks and the Dodgers.
Here's your coffee.
Oh, thank you.
The rest will be right here.
Good.
You fellas new in the neighborhood, aren't you?
What's that?
You're new around here, aren't you?
Yeah.
Stevens got 3 hits.
Most of our trade is neighborhood people. Come in for coffee and cakes on the way home from the show. I could tell you fellas are new here. Haven't seen you before.
Yeah.
I'll get the rest of the order.
Fine.
We got 1 RBI.
What?
Stevens got 1 RBI.
You got a what?
RBI, Joe. Run, batted
Oh,
in.
yeah.
RBI.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what you said. But...
You got to know all that stuff to really watch a game.
Yeah, I know that.
Here you go, fellas. Wheat cakes and bacon, hot cakes and sausage.
Wait a minute. Where's the egg?
Inside.
Where?
Inside.
Oh, look, Joe, underneath there, see?
Yeah.
Egg underneath.
Here's the syrup.
Thank you.
I sure had some excitement around here.
All right.
Yeah. Don't you guys read the papers?
He does.
Yeah.
Sports page.
No, I mean the front page.
So what's been going on? He won't tell me.
All the burglaries. Been 17 of them in the last 5 weeks. It's running the cops silly.
Is that so?
Sure. They don't know where they're going. Running them silly. Say, you like a little more coffee?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, please. Very good coffee, too. You make it yourself here?
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Put a head on this, too, will you?
Fine. There have been at least 5 detectives in here in the last couple of weeks asking questions. Trying to come up with a lead.
Mm-hmm.
Sure running them ragged. You guys haven't read about it, huh?
Yeah, I think I've seen something about it somewhere.
It's pretty funny. Just get this picture. Now get it. A guy. They figure it's one fella. He walks up to the back of the house. First off, he's sure there's nobody home. Then he walks up to one of the windows and punches a hole in the screen. Chimneys the window, walks right in and lifts the jewelry in the house and takes off. Just as cool as can be. They figure he's hitting the places between 6 and 9. You get that? Between 6 and 9 p.m. They must have half the cops on the force looking for the guy. They're running rings around him. How's the cakes?
Fine.
Good. We got kind of secret recipe here. Wife made it up. Anyway, I was talking to one of the people who had it. You know, one of the victims, guy over on Hobart. He said the cops came in and went all over his house, took fingerprints, pictures, all that. Worked on his house for about 5 hours. Went all over the backyard looking for footprints. And you know what they came up with?
No.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. All that time, all those men, and they didn't come up with nothing. He sure got the cops running in circles.
You got a check? Check.
Oh, yeah, here you go. Stack of wheats, bacon, hot sausage and egg, 2 coffees. I won't charge you for the refills.
That's very nice of you, thank you.
Oh, that's all right. Let's see, comes to $1.25. Taxes $1.29.
Okay. You got any pennies, Frank?
Yeah, I got 2.
Here, take a nickel, break it apart.
Wait a minute, I'll get my wallet, Joe. Maybe I got a couple in there.
Hey. Hey, how come you guys are carrying guns? You ain't gonna hold up the place, are you? There isn't any money here.
We're police officers.
Detectives?
Yeah.
Oh. Say, I hope you guys ain't sore about what I said. About you running in circles.
No, forget it. That's all right.
Oh, no, come on. Let this one be on the house. Take your money back. Sort of a way to say I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
Forget it.
I'd like to pop for the cakes.
No, thanks. Thanks just the same.
Well, hope you come back again.
Sure.
Say, just a minute.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
About this fellow who's been pulling the jobs.
Yeah.
When do you figure you're going to get him?
When he runs out of circles. The papers had carried the story since the 5th burglary. As the thefts continued, the stories grew in importance. The thief had been operating in the same general area. On each report, the crime lab had been sent out, pictures were taken, fingerprints were lifted. When the sum total of evidence was weighed and sifted, we were able to establish the fact that we were looking for the same man or men. He was in possession of a 1/4-inch punch, which he used on the screens, and a 1/2-inch jimmy, which he used to pry open the windows. From traces of fabric that he left on the 4th job, we knew that he wore cotton gloves. We had no physical description of him to work with, nothing but the M.O. that he used. The stats office had made run after run looking for a lead. The possibles that they'd turned up were checked out, but they netted us nothing. Communications had been gotten off to the rest of the nation asking for information on known criminals who used the same M.O., but the replies were of no help. All recently released convicts from the state penitentiaries and work farms were checked. We found nothing. The pawn shops in the Southland were alerted to be on the lookout for the stolen goods. Again, nothing. Informants and other sources of information were questioned and re-questioned, and at the end of 5 weeks, we were right back where we started. The newspapers took up the stories in full force. They ran cartoons of the thief, picturing him as an invisible phantom who could almost announce the time of the next housebreaking to the police and then proceed according to plan without interference. Every known method of apprehending the burglar was tried. None of them worked. Captain Wisdom assigned 4 other teams of men to the case. Metro Division sent out another 2 cars to aid in the rolling stakeout. Apparently, we were stopped cold. 2 more days passed, and on Friday, June 5th, we got a report of another burglary. 9:36 a.m. Frank and I left the office to check it out.
Yes, something you want?
We'd like to see Miss Santos if we could.
Who are you?
Police officers, ma'am. Is Miss Santos in?
Oh, well, I'm her. Come on in.
Thank you.
Come on, hurry up. I don't want to let the flies into the house.
Yes, ma'am.
Whew, never saw so many flies around as this summer. Sit down.
Thank you.
Can I get you anything? Cup of coffee?
No, thank you, ma'am.
You don't mind if I have some?
No, you go right ahead.
Just having another cup before I get started on the house, sort of the lull before the storm.
Ma'am?
The kids are downstairs playing. They'll be up in a minute. They get to running around. It's impossible to get anything done.
Yes, ma'am.
All I can do is get a second cup of coffee in the morning. Excuse me, Mint. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Just make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now then, this is about the burglar last night, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. We'd like to go over the list of stolen articles with you.
Uh-huh, that's it. Everything they took.
I'd like to check it if we can.
Wasn't anything else in the house for him to take?
Well, let's see here. According to what we have on the report, you listed $47 in cash, haven't
Yeah, that's from the jar.
Ma'am.
We got a little candy jar upstairs. Keep loose change in it. Whenever I have anything left over from my household money, I put in there. Anthony, he's my husband.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, whenever Anthony's got any loose change in his pocket, he drops it in there. Adds up in time. $47.
Yes, ma'am. You're pretty sure about the amount now.
Yeah, you see, we keep a little piece of paper in the jar. Got the amount written on it so as we can tell how much we've added to it.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever stole the money didn't take the paper, just the money. Had exactly $47.
Yes, ma'am. Now, you list a ruby and diamond woman's wristwatch, is that right?
Gonna use it for a trip to Las Vegas.
A big friend?
We were gonna use the money in the jar for a trip to Las Vegas. Only needed $150 more. Now we gotta start all over again.
Yes, ma'am. Now, about the watch?
Oh, yeah, well, they stole that, too. Had 2 rubies on one side, 3 diamonds on the other, little gold band. Took that, too. Anniversary present from Anthony. He's my husband.
Uh-huh.
Gave it to me on our 5th anniversary, February 2nd.
You list a diamond ring. Wonder if you can give us a little better description of the ring.
My engagement ring. Solitaire, not very big. Had it on my dressing table on one of those little ring gadgets. You know, the little block of wood on the little stick?
Yes, ma'am.
You put your rings on it when you're doing the dishes? Not very big.
Yes, ma'am. Now, was there anything else of value taken?
No. A couple of cheap little costume pieces, bracelet, couple of pins, nothing really worth anything.
Might have descriptions of the pieces if we could.
I can give them to you.
All right, fine.
You really think you're going to be able to catch the fellow that took the things?
Well, we don't know. We're sure going to try. Have there been any strangers that you've noticed in the neighborhood lately?
No, none that I can think of right off.
Any strange cars, ma'am?
You married, officer?
Yes, ma'am.
Got any kids?
Yes, ma'am, too.
Mm-hmm. Will you just ask your wife how much time she's got to take notice of cars driving up and down the street, noticing whether people are loitering in front of the house or not? You just ask her. She'll tell you. You men all the time talking about the modern conveniences. Help out the housework. Just zip and the house is clean with the vacuum. Swish the dishes around. They're all clean with the new soaps.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, maybe it's better than our mothers had it, but they still haven't come up with nothing short of a straitjacket that'll keep you from having to run after the kids all day.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
ask your wife. She'll tell you.
Yes, ma'am.
You ask yours, too. You'll see.
I'm not married, Miss Sanders.
Well, then you wouldn't know. Well, you can talk to his wife. Those fellas last night, they gained clues?
We haven't checked on them yet, ma'am.
Seems like they should be able to tell something about who did it. All that powder they was putting around, the pictures they was taking, all the excitement. Took me 2 hours after they left before I could get the kids to sleep. All that trouble, they should have something that's going to get the things back. Sure know one thing.
What's that, ma'am?
Man that stole the watch. Wish they'd taken the book.
Beg pardon?
The record book. It was right in the drawer of the dressing table. Where those people at the store are. If you don't find them, they will.
I don't believe I understand, Miss Sanders.
The people where we bought the wristwatch. They'll find him, sure. They won't let him get away with it.
Ma'am?
The watch. It isn't paid for.
10:42 a.m. We started to canvass the neighborhood. For the next hour, we talked to the people in the houses on both sides of the street. None of them could add anything to the story given us by the latest victim. 12 noon, Frank and I called the office and told them we'd be out for 7. As we were leaving our car, a tall, elderly man approached us. He identified himself as Ross Dunham. He explained that he lived in the corner house on the same street as Mrs. Santos.
Yeah, my wife told me you were about the house this morning.
Yes, sir, we were.
Got something that maybe you can use.
What's that, Mr. Dunham?
Well, I noticed it right off. Didn't want to say anything about it to the missus. You know, women get upset. Thought it'd be better not to mention it.
Yes, sir, what is it?
Night before last, Thursday, I saw the car.
What car was that, sir?
The one I want to tell you about. I was going downtown to tell you officers about it. Felt kind of like it was my duty. You know, public spirit.
Yes, sir. How about the car?
Well, it was kind of a warm night. Mrs. and I were sitting out on the porch in the glider, just taking the night air. Then I saw the car go by. Didn't think much about it at first.
I see.
Must have been about 6:30, right after supper. We just sitting there, taking the air, having a glass of iced tea. Then I saw the car go by again. Slow like he's looking the houses over.
Could you describe the car for us, sir?
Yeah, got written right down here someplace. Car went by the house 2 more times that night. 4 times all told. 4.
Uh-huh.
I think I got it in my wallet. Might have left it in my other pants. I thought... Oh, no, here it is. There it is. Even got the license number.
Yes, sir.
Is it going to help?
Well, we don't know, sir. We'll check it out.
Can I have that paper, please? I'll call it in, Joe. Have him check DMV.
Right.
Sure hope it gives you guys some help. The way the burglar's been running around here, terrible. The man isn't safe to leave his house. I've been thinking about having those little bell alarms put on the window.
Did the officers talk to you last night, sir?
You mean when they came out to see Mrs. Santos?
Yes, sir.
No, they didn't. I saw the police car. I thought about going down to talk to them. But the missus would have wanted to know what was going on. Told her about the car, and it had upset her. She's kind of nervous. Breaks out in a rash whenever anything happens like this.
I see.
Got just about every kind of ointment in the world. Doctor says it's in her mind. Says it's all in her imagination. You believe that?
Well, I wouldn't know, sir.
I don't put much stock in it. I used to get rashes when I'd eat fresh peaches. Don't anymore, though.
See you in a minute, Joe.
Yeah, would you excuse me, Mr. Dunham?
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. Did you get anything?
Yeah. Didn't have any trouble making the car. Got a good suspect.
Yeah, who?
Guy named Oakes.
Oakes?
Yeah. Works on a burglary. It's a police car.
We thanked Mr. Dunham for his cooperation in the attempt to help us. As a public-minded citizen, he'd done what he thought was right. During the time we'd been working on the case, we'd turned up dozens of well-meaning citizens who wanted to cooperate. Each of the tips, no matter how remote, we checked out. This meant using additional man-hours and pulling officers off other assignments to investigate the possible leads. But in every event, we appreciated the tips. 3 more days passed. The thief hit once more. In spite of the close surveillance we were keeping on the area, he somehow managed to get into the vicinity, commit the crime, and leave without being observed. The pressure from local citizens' clubs and insurance companies got a little heavier. On Tuesday morning, June 10th, a meeting was held in Chief of Detectives Thad Brown's office. The detail and results of our investigation were gone over again. Additional bulletins were gotten out requesting information on the M.O. The area of the rolling stakeout was increased to 96 square blocks. That's 2 square miles. A new plan for surveillance was worked out. Under the new conditions, we were able to keep the entire neighborhood under almost constant watch. Additional teams of men were assigned from Metro Division. To date, the thief had stolen jewelry, money, and other personal property amounting to a little over $8,000. The check on the pawn shops was tightened, but none of the merchandise turned up in the normal outlets. Every night between the hours of 5:30 and midnight, the dragnet of the area was put into effect. During the next week, the theft stopped completely. Apparently, we'd stopped the burglar, but we still hadn't caught him. Wednesday, June 17th, I checked in for work.
Joe?
Yeah?
I think we got something.
What's that?
I was just down the hall with Bates.
Yeah.
I checked out the FI cards that have been filed in the area we're working. Came up with one possible.
Yeah, what do you got on it?
A guy named Boyd Hall. He was stopped 4 times in the last week in different locations in the same general area. Told the officers he was on his way home.
How do you spell that name?
B-O-Y-D, Boyd Hall.
Mm-hmm. You got his address?
Yeah, better check it out. I ran the name through R&I and came up with 8. 3 of them back in the joint, 1 dead, other 4 have to be checked out. Descriptions don't fit too well.
Let me see there.
Yeah, here you are.
We better get right out there, huh?
Now, let's go. Might be something, huh?
I don't know. We're due for a break. "15 minutes later, we turned off Vermont Avenue onto Venice Boulevard. 4 blocks to the left, and we turned onto Dewey Street. Another block and a half, and we pulled up in front of the address.
Well, this is 1800. Ought to be right here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're still batting 1,000.
1804 Dewey.
Yeah. Vacant lot.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
It's so satisfying to know that my Chesterfield is low in nicotine, highest in quality.
Chesterfield, low in nicotine, highest in quality. A fact proved by chemical analyses of the country's 6 leading cigarette brands.
And it's so satisfying to know that a doctor who has been making thorough examinations, especially of the nose, throat, and sinuses, reports no adverse effects from smoking Chesterfields.
His report is a part of a program supervised by a responsible independent research laboratory and is based on thorough bi-monthly examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers over a period of a year and a half.
That's 18 full months now. Don't you want to smoke a cigarette with a record like this? Regular or king size?
Chesterfield is low in nicotine, highest in quality. Best for me, best for you.
Wednesday, June 17th, 8:48 a.m. We canvassed the neighborhood around the vacant lot. None of the people had ever heard of Boyd Hall. We asked about anyone answering the description listed on the FI cards. The neighbors couldn't help us there either. 11:17 a.m. We returned to the office and we started to check out the remaining 4 possibles. All of them were able to establish alibis for the time of the burglaries, and they were eliminated as suspects. We got in touch with the officers who'd filed the FI cards. They remembered the man. Each of the teams of men who'd stopped him had asked for identification. He'd produced a driver's license, personal cards, and several letters to himself bearing the Dewey Street address. He told the officers that he'd lived in the neighborhood and that he was returning to his home from a grocery store. The officers had checked the bag of groceries he was carrying and found nothing suspicious and let him proceed on his way. We got in touch with Sergeant Zook at the warrant office and asked him to check and see if there were any outstanding traffic warrants on Boyd Hall. He called back to tell us there were none. APBs and local broadcasts were sent out, asking for information on anyone answering the description using the name Boyd Hall. We got in touch with the Department of Motor Vehicles and asked them to give us all the information they could on the suspect carrying California operator's license number Z941511, issued 12/5/52. They checked their files and told us that there was no record of a Boyd Hall being issued that particular license number. They also stated that no number had been given out on the Z 'Z' series. This left little doubt that the license was a forgery and the name was an alias. We got in touch with the officers who'd filed the FI cards. They remembered the man. Each of the teams of men who'd stopped him had asked for identification. He'd produced a driver's license, personal cards, and several letters to himself bearing the Dewey Street address. He told the officers that he'd lived in the neighborhood and that he was returning to his home from a grocery store. The officers had checked the bag of groceries he was carrying and found nothing suspicious and let him proceed on his way. We got in touch with Sergeant Zook at the warrant office and asked him to check and see if there were any outstanding traffic warrants on Boyd Hall. He called back to tell us there were none. APBs and local broadcasts were sent out, asking for information on anyone answering the description using the name Boyd Hall. We got in touch with the Department of Motor Vehicles and asked them to give us all the information they could on the su In the meantime, the rolling stakeout continued. 2 days passed while we followed down leads. Saturday, June 20th. Frank and I were in position for the night surveillance. 8:30 p.m.
Joe. Up at the corner getting off the streetcar?
Yeah, maybe.
Description fits.
I'm carrying a shopping bag. Now let's take a look.
Right.
Pull up here, Sid.
Right.
Excuse me, fella.
We're going to have to go through this again.
Beg your pardon?
You're police officers, aren't you?
Yes, sir, we are.
And you want to see my identification?
Yes, sir, that's right.
All right. I'll be glad when you fellas find whatever it is you're looking for. You know, this is the 5th time I've been stopped.
Is that right?
Yeah. Here, will you hold this shopping bag for me?
Sure. Hey, what you got in here?
Loaf of bread, groceries. I got my driver's license in my wallet. Here.
Would you take it out of your wallet, please?
Sure. There. See?
Mm-hmm. Boyd Hall. That's your true name?
That's what it says.
1804 Dewey Street, and that's where you live?
Yeah. Just came back from the store.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're sorry we bothered you, Mr. Hall.
Perfectly all right. I know you're only doing what we pay you for.
I tell you what, to make up for causing any inconvenience, let us drive you home, could we?
Oh, that's not necessary. It's just a couple of blocks. I don't mind a walk. Don't like to put you fellas out.
Well, don't worry about it. Get in the back seat, huh?
Really, I appreciate the thought, but it's not necessary.
Want to get in the back there?
All right.
Want to take the shopping bag in front, Frank?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hall.
The way you guys acted, you'd think there was something wrong.
Nothing is there?
No, I was just saying the way you guys... Never mind.
How long you lived in this neighborhood, Hall?
A little while. We just bought the house.
About how long would you say?
Not long.
How long?
A couple of months.
Mm-hmm. I think it's right at the next block, Frank.
Yeah.
Say, I sure appreciate this, but you guys don't have to go out of your way. Just drop me off the corner. I can walk. It's just a little ways down.
No, it's no trouble at all.
Here we are.
Well, I sure want to thank you, officers. It's a real pleasure to know that our taxes are paying for the kind of service you've just given me.
Well, it's going to get a little better.
Hmm?
Never mind. Want to get out of the car, we'll walk up with you.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'll carry the bag for you.
Well, it might be better if I took it.
No, no trouble.
Now, which is your house, Hall?
This one right here.
Mm-hmm. That's 1802. Then that one's 1806. Let's walk down a little further, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. Now, if we figure correctly, 1804 would be right here, wouldn't it?
Don't suppose it'd do any good to say somebody stole the house.
No, I don't suppose it would. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, I might as well.
Now, let's get back in the car. All right.
Well, what do you got in this shopping bag? Sure is heavy. Let's see. A box of breakfast cereal. And a loaf of French bread. You ought to take this bread back, Hall. Look here, somebody cut it right in half. See here, Joe?
Yeah.
All hollowed out. Punch and a jimmy inside. Burglary tools.
You want to tell us where you got them? How about it, Hall? All right, let's go, Frank.
Yeah.
Suppose you guys think you're pretty smart, don't you?
No, not particularly. It took us 8 weeks to catch you.
I should have let it go. Should have gotten out while the getting was good.
Yeah, you should have.
How are you going to know? I figured 10 weeks and then quit. Another 2 weeks. That's all I needed.
Where's the stuff you took?
Hotel room.
You shoved any of it yet?
No, it's all there. Every bit of it but the money. I lived on that. Figured when I got enough, I'd hit for the border, sell it in Mexico.
Let's stop on the way and pick it up, huh?
All right, place over on 6th. I'll show you.
This isn't another vacant lot, is it?
No, this is a McCoy. You know, I had it all figured, all the way down the line, every angle. Hey, how about it? Answer a question for me.
All right.
Is there any way to beat it, any way to come out on top?
Well, you know the answer to that one better than we do.
Hmm?
You tried. What do you think?
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On October 15th, trial was held in Department 96, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, as you heard George tell you earlier, we've received the full year and one-half report. It comes from the doctor who's been examining Chesterfield smokers with special attention to the nose, throat, and sinuses. Now, the report shows again no adverse effects from smoking Chesterfields. I think that's very important to you as a smoker, and I hope you'll keep it in mind next time you buy cigarettes and get Chesterfields. Regular or king size, Chesterfields are low in nicotine, highest in quality. Best for you.
Lawrence Philip Harris, alias Boyd Hall, was tried and convicted on 6 counts of burglary in the first degree and received sentence as prescribed by law. Burglary in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years.
Dragnet wishes to thank the editors of McCall's magazine for their interesting personal story about Jack Webb, Nobody's Man Friday, in the current September issue of McCall's.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Peter Leeds, Joyce McCluskey, Harry Bartell. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely new Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspaper for day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Have you tried new cork-tipped Fatima? It's the smooth smoke. Here's why. New Fatima tips of perfect cork, king size for longer filtering, and Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. Remember, Fatima has the tip for your lips. Try new Fatima. See how smooth it is. Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
Come here, I want to... Oh, George, you shouldn't have walked between Jerry and me.
Oh, I'm sorry, fellas.
Infant, your bread and butter, Dan.
Bread and butter.
What goes up in the chimney?
Smoke.
What do you smoke?
Chesterfield.
Right, and that's our bread and butter.
Which means that Chesterfield, the only cigarette in America to give you premium quality in both regular and king size, brings you the Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis Show. Possible smoke for all you folks. Round off for Chesterfield, round off for Chesterfield, try a pack of Chesterfield.
And do it today.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to bring you our master of ceremonies, Dean Martin.
Here it is. Time to do our weekly Tuesday night sounding off for Chesterfield. My partner, Jerry Lewis, will be bounding in on the next pogo stick. So while we're waiting for the boisterous little bounder, what do you say we start things humming with a tuneful little earful of music? So, Richard, it is you ain't my conductor. Is all that you ain't my baby. The way you're acting lately makes me down. baby. Seems my flame in your heart's done gone out. A woman is a creature that has always been singing. Just when you're sure of fun, you find she's gone. Maybe change, oh, if you is all, if you ain't my baby. Maybe baby found somebody new. Or is you ain't, or is you is my baby. Folks, and right now...
Shut the window, lock the door, they're after me,
Oh, that's Jerry Lewis. All right, now, Jerry, you just calm yourself down. Now, who's after you?
The finance company, they want to take back my arm.
Oh, now, wait a minute. What makes you think the finance company wants to take back your arm?
I missed 2 payments on my vaccination.
Look, Jerry, I find out new things about you every day. I know all about the 6 years we've worked together, but what about your childhood?
Well, when I was born, I was very young. I was nothing years old. And until I was 5 years old, I couldn't see.
Couldn't see?
No, my mother was nearsighted. She kept diapering the wrong end.
I imagine your father must have had some plans for your future. Tell me, Jeff, when your father first saw you, what did he want you to be?
Somebody else's son.
Besides that, what business did he want you to go into?
Same thing as my uncle.
You mean your artist uncle, the one who makes the hand-painted matzo balls?
No, Uncle Hesse. He's an inspector in a tiddlywink factory.
Sounds like a civil service job. An inspector in a tiddlywink factory?
Oh, he was a specialist, you understand. It was his job to decide which were the boy tiddlywinks and which were the girl tiddlywinks.
You mean there was a way he could tell the difference between the guys and dolls?
Oh, to be sure. As the tiddlies came down the assembly line, my uncle would wink at them.
And the tiddlies that winked back
was the girl.
Yeah, I never thought I'd wind up working with someone who comes from a family of tiddlywinks.
Martin, you've insulted my family, and we Lewises don't take these things lightly. We're a proud clan, and I therefore challenge you to a duel. You may choose your own field of honor.
But, Jerry, I don't have any field.
Then we're even. I don't have any honor. Here's my card.
Your card? What's this thing here?
That's the family coat of arms. 2 cross salamis on a field of chopped liver.
Now, look, Jerry, you don't mean a real duel with pistols, do you?
White! Do you understand? We shall meet tomorrow morning at dawn. And if I'm not there by 6 o'clock,
yeah?
Start without me.
Yeah, you must be kidding about all this.
Hardly, Mr. Martin. We shall settle this insult in blood. I'm going now.
Where?
To get some.
I'll be seeing you.
What?
I said I'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you.
In every lovely summer's day.
And everything that's light and gay.
I'll always think of you that way.
I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is through,
I'll be looking at the moon. I will see you.
Well, friends, you know there's nothing quite so blue as the blues when they're set to music. But when a songwriter stirs up the usual blues and throws in a few sentimental wedding bells for good measure, he's liable to have cooked up one of the season's top hit blue ballads. And here it is. I went to your wedding, although I was dreading the thought of losing you. The organ was playing, my poor heart kept saying, your dreams were true. You came down the aisle wearing a smile, a vision of loneliness. I uttered a sigh, then whispered goodbye, goodbye to my happiness. Your mother was crying, your father was crying, and I was crying too. The teardrops were falling because we were
Mr. Martin? Oh, Mr. Martin.
Oh, this is Mr. Lewis.
As you recall, you have insulted my family, and I challenged you to a duel. However, we'll have to call off the duel because of something I just found out.
What is that?
I'm a coward.
Well, it's just as well we called it off, Jeff. If we didn't, we might have been arrested. After all, we have laws in this country. And tonight, I've invited as our guest a star who is a staunch supporter of law enforcement on his own shows. A dynamic young personality of radio and TV, the star of Dragnet, Jack Webb! Jerry, this is Jack Webb from Dragnet TV.
Well, how do you do? I'm Jerry Lewis from Newark, NJ.
No, Jerry, I'm from the television show Dragnet.
Oh, I saw you last week on a new set Dean gave me for Christmas.
Jerry, that wasn't a TV set I gave you. It was a washing machine.
I wonder the cops and robbers were chasing each other in their underwear.
I'm sorry you missed the real thing, Jerry. It was the story of a policeman who guarded the catch of the fishing fleet.
Yeah, it was called the Cape Cod Kipper Keeper Cooper Caper.
The Cape Cod Kipper Keeper Cooper Caper?
You heard him there, the Cape Cod Kipper Keeper Cooper Caper.
Now, the villain was a camper named Cooper who worked in a bottle factory. First as a corker, then as a capper.
Oh, the Cape Cod Camper Cooper Corper Capper Kipper Keeper Cooper Caper.
Yeah, you see, the fishing boat was a clipper, and the thief was killed in the church steeple. There's a big bell up there, and he was clobbered with a clapper.
The Cape Cod Flipper steam.
What, Jer?
We couldn't get Sam's pay?
No. Jack, I invited you here to see if you could help me. After all, we have something in common. Our sponsor.
Yeah, that's right, Gene. On Dragnet, I work for Chesterfield, and on your show, you work for Chesterfield.
That's right, Jer. We're both working for Chesterfield.
Sometimes I wish we were working for money.
Now, Jack, here's my problem. Jerry tells me to a duel, and, well, I'd sure hate to put a bullet between his eyes.
Well, that's impossible, Dean. Between his eyes, there ain't room for a bullet.
That's because I have a very skinny head.
Yeah. Jerry, look, we have laws against dueling, same as we have laws against speeding. A car can be a very dangerous weapon.
I'll say, yesterday I was crossing the street when I saw a car coming at me. I ran up 3 flights of stairs into my apartment, rushed into the closet, and locked the door.
What happened?
He got me anyway.
A thing like that calls for at least a ticket.
You did? I paid a $10 fine.
You paid a fine for what?
Running without a license.
That's terrible, Jer. What happened to the driver of the car that hit you?
Nothing, Dean, but he won't get away.
Well, you mean you got his number?
No, but I'll never forget his laugh.
You'll never forget his laugh.
Pardon me, sir. Would you do that again?
Certainly.
Mr. Webb, would you please get your car out of my closet?
Now, stop it, Jer. If anyone looked out for public safety, it's Jack Webb. Millions of people listen to and watch his show every week.
Well, thanks, Dean, but it's the kids I'd like to reach. Unfortunately, most of them are only interested in fairy tales.
Well, tonight, why don't you do a fairy tale as you would do it on your Dragnet show?
Well, that's swell. I'd like to, but I'm not prepared.
We are. Fenneman, come here, you old hound dog.
The Chesterfield much milder players bring you king-size Dean Martin and Jack Webb with regular-size Jerry Lewis. In a hastily rehearsed play about the 3 bears, our version of Dragnet concerns a blonde moll called Goldilocks, who woke up with not one curl of her golden tresses out of place. And it's entitled Hairnet. This is the city. There's nothing around here but chipmunks, rabbits, trees, forests. This is the city. My name's Friday. I'm a cop. I wear yellow shoes, an Argyle beret, a plaid coat with satin lapels. I'm a plainclothesman.
I'm Friday's younger brother. My name is Thursday. I'm a cop, too. All day long, I pound the beat. I make my own board.
I'm Friday's older brother. My name is a week from Tuesday. I'm a special agent for the Crime Commission. For every crime, I get a 10% commission.
Hello, homicide. Thursday speaking. No, Saturday and Sunday are gone for the weekend. What's that? I'll get the police microphone. Calling all cars, calling all cars, calling car 84, Officer Farmkit. Wipe your windshield. Someone is stealing your radiator cap. That is all.
Morning, Third.
Hi, Fry.
Anything new in the 3 bears case? They found out who tasted the little bear's porridge yet and made it all gone?
No, but I brought in our chief suspect, Goldilocks. I talked to her alone for an hour.
Does she know anything?
She does now.
Hi, Fry. Hi, Thurs.
Hi, week from June.
I just found a body out in the street.
Good. You may keep it for your honor.
But it was Goldilocks.
Goldilocks?
Yeah, she was found wearing a derby and flag.
Well, at least he died like a man.
Here's the hospital report on Father Bear. He's dead. They just performed the autopsy.
What he died from?
The autopsy.
Hello? Homicide, Friday speaking. No, hi, Wednesday. Okay. Mama Bear's been murdered, too. She was pushed into a freezing vat at the popsicle factory.
Look, a report's coming on the teletype. It's about the baby bear. It happened again.
You mean somebody tasted his porridge?
Worse than that. Somebody pinched his pizza.
Sounds like the work of a Marone gang. Let's go to the bear's house and investigate.
So we climbed into the car, and I got behind the wheel. I knew we were heading for trouble. I can't drive. It was really very foggy, so I followed the white line on the road. I drove for 20 miles, and then I found out what I was following wasn't a white line. It was a good humor truck with its vanilla leaking.
When we got to the bear's house, I peeked through the keyhole with one eye. I saw something very strange with my other eye. While I was peeking, someone wrapped the door around my head. In here, furs and wheat from. This is where the bears live.
How do you know this is the place where the bears live?
Look what's on the floor, a people skin rug.
And there's little baby bear. He's been murdered.
Yeah. His body's in a strange position. His back is arched and his legs are sticking up in the air. How do you figure it, sirs?
Obvious. He was beaten to death with a contour chair.
Wait a minute. Are we sure this is the baby bear? There was something strange about the corpse. I checked the bear's fur more closely. It wasn't a bear at all. It was a mink-dyed halibut. I thought I smelled something fishy. Yeah, well, the killer must still be here. The body's still warm.
It should be. It's on the stove.
For a moment, I thought I had him. I'll tell you what. You examine the body for a bullet and then check with ballistics.
What's ballistic?
Well, I don't know, but on Dragnet we always say that.
Oh.
I'll search the closets for the killer. Nobody there. Nobody there. Nobody there.
Well, we searched high and low, but there were no more jokes left in the house, so we decided to search the barn.
It's awful dark in this barn.
Well, hold my hand, sirs.
Okay, Fry. Hey, Fry. Fry, where are you?
I'm over here.
And whose fingers am I holding?
Hey, I think I got the killer here.
I'll shoot. Don't shoot, I'll confess.
Who are you?
My name's Cooper.
Oh, you're the camper from the Cape Cod Tipper Keeper Cooper Caper.
Yeah, the fellow who works in the bottle factory as a corker and a capper.
No, I used to. Now I work in a rug factory as a carpet clipper.
Carpet clipper? I'm letting you go.
You're letting the killer go? Why?
It's easier than having to say this is the Cape Cod Camper Cooper Corker Capper Capper Carpet Clipper Keeper Capper Cooper Caper Carpet.
You did a swell job. You can think for me anytime.
Thanks, Jack, and you can guess for us any time, too. How about that, Jerry?
Splendid, old chap, splendid.
Say, look, how about you boys having lunch with me sometime?
Love to.
Not me. I went to a restaurant today, ate a businessman's lunch, and was thrown out.
You were thrown out for eating a businessman's lunch? Why?
The businessman wanted to eat it himself.
Jack, I know you've got to be shoving along now, but don't forget your job, you know. Get him.
Yes, sir. Get everybody to change to Chesterfield. Friends, Dean, Jerry, and I wouldn't ask you to try Chesterfield if we didn't know Chesterfield is best for you.
That's because they're first to give you scientific evidence on the effects of smoking.
And best because only Chesterfield gives you premium quality in both regular and king size.
That's right, folks. Chesterfield is best for you. Regular or king size. They give you all the pleasure the modern cigarette can give.
So your job, get 'em. Get Chesterfield today.
Well, so long, boys. It was swell being here. Good night.
Good night, Jack, and thank you so much. Jack Webb.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield. Low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. A hold-up man has robbed the owner of a neighborhood grocery store. The victim has been beaten unmercifully with a sawed-off shotgun. The assailant has escaped into the city without a trace. Your job? Find him. Smokers by the thousands are now changing to Chesterfield, the only cigarette ever to give you 1, proof of low nicotine, highest quality. 2, this proven record with smokers. No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield. Chesterfield, regular or king size, low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, February 18th. It was raining in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. The office had called me at 3:46 a.m., and by the time I got dressed and out in front of my apartment, it was 3:59 a.m. Frank was there waiting to pick me up.
What's the best way to get there?
Down the freeway, I guess, and cut over on the Liso, huh?
All right. Who called you, the hospital or the office?
The office. Said that Bailey had regained consciousness. We might be able to talk to him now.
The rain's going to slow us down.
Well, I better use the light and siren, Frank. We may not have much time.
Huh?
The way the skipper put it to me on the phone.
Yeah?
They still don't know if Bailey's going to live. Raymond Bailey was 62 years old. He owned and operated a small neighborhood grocery store on the corner of Whitman and Beacon Streets. 2 days before, on Monday night, a man had entered the store and at the point of a sawed-off shotgun had robbed Bailey. After emptying the cash register and the safe, he'd slugged the elderly man with the barrel of the gun and he'd fled. Bailey had been rushed to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital and then transferred to the county hospital for treatment. For the past 2 days, he'd been under a heavy sedative and he'd been in a coma. He was suffering from a skull fracture, cuts, and bruises. His condition was listed as critical, and we'd left word to be called the minute he regained consciousness. 4:26 a.m. We got to the hospital. We went up to the 4th floor. We met and talked with the doctor who'd been taking care of Bailey. He told us that the patient had just been given another shot to ease the pain and that he'd probably drop off to sleep. We went into the hospital room and walked over to the side of the bed. It was a few minutes before the old man started to talk.
I'll tell you what I remember. All seemed kind of far away, like I read about it in a book. Not like it really happened to me.
All right, sir, if you just tell it in your own words, if you can.
What time is it?
It's 4:45, Mr. Bailey.
Who's that?
I'm Frank Smith.
Oh, you a policeman, too?
Yes, sir.
Oh, 4:45, huh? That day or night?
It's in the morning, sir.
Uh-huh. I sure been out.
If you'd tell us what happened, sir.
How many of you are there in here?
With just the two of us.
Yeah. Way they got my head all bandaged, can't see. Say, officers.
Yes, sir?
Doctor said this is Wednesday. Is that true?
Yes, sir, that's right. Wednesday the 18th.
I can't figure where the time's gone. It can't be Wednesday. Why do you have to agree with him? Why don't you tell me for true?
Well, sir, you've been asleep for a couple of days.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Been pretty sick, huh?
That's what they tell us.
Mm-hmm. Seems like every time I turn around and give me another shot. Takes the pain away, but makes everything seem so far away, like nothing was really happening to me.
Yes, sir, we understand. Think you could go on with the story?
Yeah. This fella came in Monday night. It was raining. Wasn't much business. I was figuring on closing when he came in. Took one of the carts and started to pick up stuff off the counter.
Yes, sir.
Well, the fella picked up a lot of stuff. Had a shopping bag with him, hung it on the cart. I figured that I'd have to check the bag when he got the check stand. We had a lot of shoplifting lately.
I see.
Well, after he looked the store over, he came up to the check stand. I checked out the stuff he had. Came to over $5. Oh, picked out all kinds of things, most of them imported.
I see. These were all groceries, were they?
Yes. I had the stuff, and it come to a little over $5. Oh, I got exactly how much. A little over $5.
All right, sir.
After I got everything all totaled up, well, I asked him if I could put it in the shopping bag for him. I didn't want to come right out and ask to see in it. After all, he might have just moved in the neighborhood, and I haven't got that many regulars that I can insult him.
Yes, sir.
That's when he pulled the gun. Pulled it right out of the shopping bag.
Now, you saw that it was a shotgun, did you?
Yes, sir. Barrel was sharp. I guess it'd been sawed off.
Mm-hmm.
He pointed at me and told me to give him the money in the cash register.
All right, sir.
And he told me to lay down on the floor and stay there for 5 minutes and not to move.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to do it. I wasn't going to give him any trouble. Money doesn't mean that much to me. You get to be my age, 62, and it's more important that you're alive than how much money you got. Yes, sir. A lot more important.
Yes, sir.
Well, I was just going to do like you said when Mrs. Colton came in the store. She's one of my regular customers, you know.
I see.
She saw the fellow with the gun, and she let out a scream. I tried to tell her to keep quiet, but before I could say much of anything, the fellow turned around and hit me with a gun. Oh, I say, hit me just about as hard as he could. I kind of remember the sirens coming, but after that, it's kind of hazy. Like it didn't really happen to me, like I read about it.
I see, sir. Now, can you tell us what the man looked like?
Yes, I guess I can. A bit before I do, though.
Yes, sir.
Would you tell me what time it really is?
Well, right now it's 4:50, Mr. Bailey. 4:50 a.m.
Wednesday morning?
Yes, sir, that's right.
I don't think it's very nice, you fellas, play a joke like this on an old man. Seems like you could be honest. If I had my watch, I could tell myself.
Well, we're telling you the truth about the time, Mr. Bailey. It's 4:50.
All right, then you have your little joke, but I don't think it's funny at all.
Now, sir, can you tell us how old the man was?
About 24, 26.
I see. How tall was he?
Tall as me. I can remember because I could look right over straight at him. That'd make him 5'8". Yeah, right about that.
Was he heavy or slight?
I couldn't tell too well. He had a big overcoat on.
How about his coloring, his complexion?
Oh, he's dark complected, had dark eyes.
Do you remember what the color of his hair was?
Well, I could just see at the temples. It was black. Yeah. He had this hat on, the hat pulled down.
Uh-huh. Was he clean shaven?
Yes, he was.
I'm sorry to have to ask you all these questions, but we have to get to the bottom of this. Did he have any marks or scars?
Yes, sir. He had a little mole on the side of his nose. Just a small little one.
Which side of his nose, would you remember?
Well, when he was facing me, it was on the left, so That'd be on his right. Yeah, that's right, on the right side.
I hope we're not tiring you too much, but was there anything different about the way he talked? An accent, something like that?
No. Say, how about the things he picked up? You get any fingerprints from him?
No, sir. He must have taken all the groceries with him. Would you know the man if you saw him again, Mr. Bailey?
You just bet I would. I'd remember that face till my dying day. I won't ever forget it.
Think you've ever seen this man before?
No, sir, never did.
Would you know if he drove a car?
Well, I don't think so. He was so wet when he come in. He must have walked a ways. And like I said, his shoulders are just soaking wet.
Yes, sir. We'd like to have you look at some pictures when you feel a little better, Mr. Bailey.
You just bring 'em on. You got a picture of that young hoodlum, I'll know it.
All right, sir. We're going to have to come back and see you. You ought to try to get some sleep now. We appreciate your cooperation here.
Well, I suppose I should. Last couple of minutes, you fellas been getting a little further away from me. Seems like none of this is happening to me just like I'm dreaming it.
Well, we'll be back to see you, sir. Is there anything you need?
No, sir, not a thing.
All right, fine. Thanks very much, and you get some rest now.
Yeah, I'll try. Say, hey, one thing you could do for me.
What's that, sir?
Would you ask the nurse to come by? I think the joke is funny, but you fellas carried it on too far. I'd like to know what time it really is.
All right, Mr. Bailey. We'll send her in.
Thank you.
Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pardon me, nurse.
Yes?
What if you check Mr. Bailey in there? He'd like to know what time it is.
Well, he's been asking the same question the last 2 days. He won't seem to believe any of us.
Mm-hmm. Would you know where we could find Dr. Cardell?
Yes, sir, just down the hall, 2 doors past the turn.
Thank you very much. Sure like to find out when they'll be able to look at those mug shots.
Yeah, it's got a good description.
Gonna make it easier.
Yeah.
I guess this is it.
2 doors past the turn.
Yeah.
Come in.
Sorry to bother you again, Doctor.
That's all right. What can I do for you?
We were wondering when it would be possible for Mr. Bailey to look at some pictures for us. I mean, when he's well enough.
Well, with the way he's been reacting to treatment, he'll live.
Yes, sir.
But you saw the bandage.
Yes, sir.
He's totally blind.
5:10 a.m. We got to the city hall. We got out a supplementary broadcast and an APB carrying the description of the suspect. We asked the stats office to make a run for us on the information the victim of the holdup had given us. They said they'd be able to give us a list of possibles by 10:30 that morning. We checked through the oddity file to see if there might be something in the records on the small mole on the suspect's nose. There were several cards turned over to us, but none of them matched the rest of the description that we had. 6:30 a.m. We went across the street, we had breakfast, and then we came back to the office and put in a call to the hospital to check on Bailey. The doctor told us that he was sleeping comfortably and he appeared to be past the critical point. For the next hour, Frank and I checked through the mug books to see if there were any recent parolees who matched the description that we had. We came up with nothing that would help us in getting an identification of the suspect. The woman customer of the store mentioned by Bailey in his report of the crime had been questioned thoroughly, but she was unable to give us any additional information on the holdup man. She was unable to give us a concrete description of the thief. She'd been shown the mug books, but after looking at them, she stated that she was more confused than she had been before seeing them. She also told us about the suspect's black overcoat. She said that while the shoulders looked quite wet from the rain, the rest of the garment appeared to be dry. 10:30 a.m., we got the results of the run from the stats office. There were 17 names on the list. All men matched the description of the suspect and had at one time or another used the same M.O. used in holding up Bailey. It took us 2 days to check them out, and at the end of 48 hours, we were no nearer apprehending the thief than we had been before. 7:58 a.m. Saturday morning. I checked in for work.
Hi, Joe.
Morning, Frank. It's one of the best investments I ever made.
Huh?
This trench coat sure gave me a lot of wear.
Well, if you only used it this week, you'd gotten your money's worth.
Yeah. Sure is the answer to the rain question, though.
I've been wearing that plastic coat of mine so long, I'm beginning to feel like a package of frozen food.
Yeah, you look like it, too.
Yeah.
Anything in the book?
No. I talked to Stoner this morning, thought for a minute he had something for us.
What's that?
Well, I picked up a kid down on 7th yesterday. Tried to heist a liquor store. Manager pulled a gun and held him. Stoner answered the call. But at first it might be the guy we're looking for.
Didn't check out, though, huh?
No. Kid just got in town yesterday morning, broke and hungry.
You know, I got to thinking about that Bailey thing last night.
Yeah?
Well, what he said about the suspect's coat.
What do you mean?
Well, you remember that Bailey said the guy didn't look very wet, just the shoulders on the coat.
Well, no, Joe, Bailey didn't say exactly that. He said the shoulders on the coat looked wet, but it was that woman customer we talked to, that Mrs. Colton. She's the one that told us the coat looked dry except the shoulders.
Yeah, well, that's the point I'm trying to make. I don't remember who said it. But if just his shoulders were wet, the way the rain was coming down out there, he couldn't have walked far and come in out of it that dry, could he?
No. There's no bus or streetcar lines within 6 blocks of Bailey's store.
We know he doesn't live close to the store. He had to come in a car.
Nobody saw one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's happened before. I guess it's the same thing you're thinking, huh?
Well?
Could have took a cab, huh?
Maybe.
Well, let's run it down.
It's better than standing still. There are 22 taxicab companies listed in the phone directory, all serving the downtown Los Angeles area. Each of these companies may have from 6 to several hundred cabs in service at any given time. Each driver might make as many as 6 trips an hour. In wet weather, the cab traffic is almost double that of any normal day. As a result of the number of possibilities, Frank and I spent the next week going through driver's way bills, checking for a cab that dropped off a customer near the corner of Virgil Avenue and Bimini Place at approximately 9:30 p.m. on the date of the robbery. After checking the reports, we came up with one trip that looked good. A driver had picked up a passenger at the corner of Mariposa and Wilshire Boulevard and had dropped him 1 block from Bailey's store, waited for him, and then driven him downtown. We checked with the traffic manager of the cab company, and we found that the driver could be located at a cab stand out on Wilshire Boulevard. Frank and I drove out to see him. We gave him the description of the suspect and asked if he'd ever seen anybody who matched it.
Yeah, I remember him. A little guy. I picked him up out on Wilshire. I remember because he wanted out on a corner. And I thought it was funny that he didn't want me to let him out in front of wherever it was he was going.
Did you wait for him?
Yeah, he gave me a sawbuck and said for me to wait. I dropped the flag, and, I guess it was about a half an hour later, he came running back to the cab. Jumped in, told me to take him down to First and Spring. Let him out there. Remember him pretty good now. Had a big shopping bag.
I see. Do you know where he went when he got out of your cab out on Bimini?
No. I think it was an apartment out there. The way the rain was coming down, I didn't stick my head out to watch him.
How about when you dropped him off downtown? You see where he went then?
No.
You think you'd know this man if you ever saw him again?
Not sure. He wore his hat kind of down over his face, dark in the back of the cab. Might know him, then maybe I wouldn't.
I'd like to have you come downtown and look at some pictures if you would, see if you can spot him for us.
Sure, I got to get cleared through the dispatcher first.
That's all right. We'll take care of that.
Say, what's this guy done? Something pretty bad, huh?
Well, we want to talk to him.
Going to a lot of trouble just to talk to the guy. Come on, you can tell me. I won't spread it around. What's a beat? What's he done, huh?
That'll be a little better if we talk to him about it.
Okay. That's the way you want to play it. I don't want to get nosy.
I'll get you cleared with the dispatcher.
Okay.
I'd like to have you show us the apartment you think the man might have gone into, if you would.
Sure. Glad to do anything I can to help. Oh, say about those pictures.
Yeah.
Sure was dark that night. I hope I can point him out.
Yes, sir. So do we. We took the cab driver downtown, and he went through the mug books, but he was unable to come up with an identification. The neighborhoods where he'd picked up the suspect and where he'd dropped him off were checked. None of the people in the vicinity could tell us anything. The usual channels of information were checked, but they yielded no new information. It had been 10 days since the holdup, and we were no nearer to finding the suspect than we'd been the day after the robbery. Another week passed without results. The thief had dropped from sight. We still had no idea where he was. On Tuesday, March 10th, we got the answer. Hot shot, I'll get it.
Anything?
Yeah, he just hit again. The description of the M.O. the thief had used was the same as he'd employed in holding up Bailey. During the following 3 days, he hit 3 more times. Each time he got away without a trace. From the information we were able to get, it became apparent that he was using taxicabs to get to and from the scene of the holdups. We checked the cab companies and got their full cooperation. They agreed to help us as much as they could, but explained that with the tremendous volume of business that they handled each day, it would be almost impossible to check every passenger that the drivers carried. We got out printed descriptions of the suspect, giving detailed information of the hat and the coat that he wore, the shopping bag that he carried, and the fact that he asked the drivers to wait for him. Another week passed without results. The bandit had stopped operating. Thursday, March 19th, 3 additional teams of men were assigned to the case, and a rolling stakeout was set up in the general area where the holdup man had been working. Additional cars were planted at the cab stands along Wilshire Boulevard and in the vicinity of First and Spring Streets. Another 2 days passed. On Thursday, March 21st, Frank and I were sitting in our car, staked out at the cab stand at the corner of Wilshire and Leeward, 8:46 p.m.
That looks like it's going to rain again.
Yeah. Those clouds have been moving in all afternoon. Pretty black, aren't they?
Yeah. Sure cold, too.
Mm-hmm.
Attention all units. All units. 9648 Eldon Place at 211 Code 3. All units in the vicinity of 9648 Elm Place at 211, code 3.
Let's go.
Right.
Couple blocks over.
Yeah.
Well, this is 9400. Should be 2 blocks down from here.
Right.
Better hold it. There's a cab headed this way.
You see who's in it?
No, he's pulling over to the other side. I'll take a look. Yeah, might be.
You want to check it?
Yeah.
All right, I'll swing around. That cab's taking off. You see it?
Yeah, he's up ahead, just turning off on Wilson, Jim.
Yeah, I hope we don't lose him.
There's only one man in the back seat.
You get a good look at him when we pass?
Not too good, no. Hat pulled down, that's about all.
See him?
Yeah, there he is up ahead.
Yeah, probably pulled a gun on the driver.
All right, stick to him now.
Yeah. It looks like he's headed for MacArthur Park.
Yeah. Turn right.
Yeah.
There's a cab. Come on, pull up. Come on. I couldn't stop. He said he'd kill me if I did. He had the gun pointed right at me.
You see where he went?
Yeah, he ran over there in the park.
Good, I'll check it.
I didn't know what it was all about. He said if I didn't keep driving, he'd kill me. That's all right. You stay here. I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure. Joe?
Yeah. You see him?
No, he got away. Maybe we got something to go on.
Yeah?
He dropped his shotgun.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Smokers by the thousands are now changing to Chesterfield, the only cigarette ever to give you 1, proof of low nicotine, highest quality. Chemical analyses of the country's 6 leading brands confirm that.
2, the only cigarette ever to give you this proven record with smokers. Again and again, over a full year and 1/2, a group of Chesterfield smokers have been given thorough medical examinations. The doctor's reports are a matter of record. No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield.
A responsible independent research laboratory supervises this continuing program. Chesterfield, the only cigarette ever with a record like this. Chesterfield, best for you.
A blockade of MacArthur Park was ordered. The surrounding streets were checked, but apparently the suspect had made good his escape. The crime lab crew was called, and they came out and went over the cab for physical evidence. In the back seat of the cab, we found the shopping bag that the thief had carried. It was a plain brown paper bag with heavy cord handles. There was no way of tracing it. In the bottom of the bag, under several cans of food, there was a sales slip with a penciled notation. One of the prices that had been rung up had apparently been wrong, and after the total had been made, a credit to the customer had been deducted. There was no market name on the slip and no address, just the penciled notation. The shotgun and the cans of food were checked for fingerprints, but those that were found were so badly smudged that they were useless. The serial number was checked with gun records, and we found out that the gun had been reported stolen 3 months previously. We went out and talked to the man who'd made the report, but he couldn't help us. Lieutenant Lee Jones made photographs of the serrated edge of the sawed-off barrels, and they were booked as evidence. We checked at the store that had been robbed, but they told us that the sales slip wasn't theirs. Monday, March 23rd, we started out to find the store that had made out the slip. We checked all of the smaller grocery stores in the area where most of the cabs had been picked up. It took us the better part of 3 days. On Wednesday afternoon, we stopped at a small delicatessen at the corner of 3rd and Leeward Streets. The manager there told us that he didn't recognize the slip, but he said that it could have come from their cash register. He asked us to wait while he called his wife. She came over to the store, and we showed her the receipt.
Yeah, that's one I made out. The customer bought 4 cans of tomato sauce, and I made a mistake on the register. I overcharged him a penny on each can. He noticed that he made quite a scene. It was pretty embarrassing. I apologized, and I gave him a credit.
Do you know the man?
Yeah, he comes in quite often, once, twice a week.
Does he live in the neighborhood, would you know?
No, I can't tell you that. He just comes in, and he leaves.
Do you know his name?
No, I don't.
You drive a car?
I've never seen him in a car. He usually walks in, gets what he wants, and then walks out.
You ever come in with anybody else?
No, he's always alone.
And you don't know if he lives around here, huh?
Well, I told you no. What's he done? What's this all about?
We want to talk to him, ma'am. When do you think he'll be back?
Well, let's say this is Thursday. Might be in this evening, maybe tomorrow.
What times do you usually come in?
Mostly in the late afternoon or early evening. Is there something I can do? Do you have a message I could give him?
No, ma'am. We'll give it to him. We called the office and told them where we were. Sergeants Murphy and Rafferty were sent out to help us cover the place. They'd stopped by the business office and brought out 2 shotguns for us. Frank and I checked the small store for some place to stake out. The only place we could find where we could keep the entire store under observation and yet not be seen ourselves was on top of one of the large refrigerators that held frozen foods and dairy products. Murphy and Rafferty took up their positions outside of the store, and we waited. At 5:30, it started to rain again. There was no sign of the suspect. 7 p.m., 8 p.m., still no sign of him, and the rain got heavier. 8:30, 9 p.m.
Oh, every time this thing switches on, it feels like the dentist is working on the teeth. Sure not much room up here.
Don't shove me off.
Yeah, there just isn't one.
What's that?
Well, there just isn't any way a man can lay on top of an icebox and be comfortable.
Yeah.
Evening.
Yeah.
Glad to see you back.
Huh?
I thought you might be mad about me overcharging you the other day. Looking for anything special tonight?
No, just a couple of can things. I can get them.
Sure is raining.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Let's wait till he comes over this way. You can jump him then.
Right.
All right, now.
Hey, what's going on?
Watch it, Joe.
Let's go.
There he goes.
All right, police officer, hold it up.
He isn't going to stop, Joe.
You see Murph and Rafferty?
Yeah, they're across the street.
Looks like he's going in that apartment. Come on. All right, take it easy. He should be in there.
He is.
All right, cover me.
Right.
All right, give it up, mister.
Get away from me, cop. You come after me, I'll kill you.
Come on downstairs. You're going to save yourself a lot of trouble.
You okay, Joe?
Yeah.
He's still alive.
You want to call the ambulance?
Yeah.
Who told you? Who tipped you off?
You did.
I never talked in my life. I wasn't even worried.
You were once, fella.
What about?
4 cents.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 16th, trial was held in Department 96, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. I only need 7 seconds to tell you why you should be smoking Chesterfields. Chesterfield is low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you. I'd like you to try them. Regular or king size? Chesterfield.
Russell Craig was tried and convicted on 3 counts of robbery in the first degree and 1 count of assault with a deadly weapon. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years. Assault with a deadly weapon is punishable by imprisonment for a period not to exceed 10 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, this week in Detroit, a group of men are gathered for the 60th annual conference of the International Association of Chiefs of Police. Dragnet sends best wishes to the top law enforcement officers in the nation and thanks them for the protection they daily give to our homes and families. May this conference be the best one they've ever had.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Ralph Moody, Lillian Bayeff, Jack Crucian. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely new Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspaper for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles. Have you tried new cork-tipped Fatima? It's the smooth smoke. Here's why. New Fatima tips of perfect cork, king size for longer filtering, and Fatima quality
for a much better flavor and aroma. Remember, Fatima has the tip for your lips. Try new Fatima. See how smooth it is. Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
Chesterfield. Chesterfield. Low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to auto theft detail. You get a call from the owner of a used car lot. He tells you he thinks he bought a stolen car. Your job, check it out. Smokers by the thousands are now changing to Chesterfield, the only cigarette ever to give you 1, proof of low nicotine, highest quality. 2, this proven record with smokers. No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield. Chesterfield, regular or king size, low in nicotine, highest in quality, best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, May 4th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of auto theft detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Nelson. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 7:56 a.m. when I got to room 40. Auto theft.
Is that you, Joe?
Yeah.
Hi.
When'd you get in?
Well, about 7:30. I woke up at 5. I couldn't get back to sleep.
What's the matter?
Oh, I'm sore, Joe. I don't think I could lift a pencil to make out a report today.
Is that right? What happened?
Baseball.
Baseball?
Yeah. I tell you something, Joe. I found it out yesterday. Ain't no Chuck Stevens.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yesterday morning, I got up early. Going to do a little work in the garden. It was a beautiful day, you know. Felt real great.
Uh-huh.
I got out in the backyard. I'll take it easy, listen to the ball game, you know. Easy day.
Yeah.
And about 10, that guy next door, Neil Radcliffe, came over.
That's the fellow in the fire department, isn't it?
No, Joe, that's Bud Hendricks in the fire department. Neil works for an insurance company.
Yeah.
Well, Neil's company is going to sponsor a team in the Little League. You know, kids' baseball team.
Mm-hmm. I think I read something about that in the papers, didn't I?
Yeah. Suppose you did. They're pretty good, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Neil's got sort of a tryout yesterday, lined up for his team. Practice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted me to umpire.
Do you know anything about being an umpire?
Well, Joe, sure I do. And besides, Neil figures since I'm a policeman, the kids will believe me. He had a little trouble with him himself last week.
I always thought you had to go to some sort of a school to be an umpire.
Well, Joe, you do for the regular leagues, but this was just a practice game. Neil's team and some kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I told him, sure, I'd do it. I changed my clothes, went out to the park with him. You know, I thought it might be good public relations for the police department. You know what they tell us.
Being an umpire would be good public relations, huh?
Well, Joe, the bulletins say get out, get around the neighborhood, know your friends and their kids.
All right, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Joe, those kids are on the wrong league.
What do you mean?
They're murderers.
Well, how's that?
The way they play the game, baseball. I never saw such ball.
Is that a fact?
Yeah. I figured, you know, softball, underhands, kids pitching, be easy to call.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, it's regulation hardball. Just like that. Bases are a little closer, but it's just like the big leagues and the way those kids throw the ball. A couple of times there, I thought they were just kidding. I'd hear this thump, never see the ball. Thought the kid catcher would just hit in his hand, his glove, you know. And all of a sudden he'd turn around, and there'd it be right in his mitt.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Well, how'd you get so sore? If you just umpired the game, you stood in one place, didn't you?
While I was up in the game, yeah, but this team of Neil's was skunking the other kids so bad that we had a little reorganization.
What do you mean, reorganization?
Well, the end of the second inning, the score was 14-2, and I thought that was a little unfair to the neighborhood kids.
Being the umpire, you certainly had the right to think it was unfair.
Well, I got out and I told him what I thought, so I decided to play first base for him.
You what?
I played first base for him.
With all those kids?
Sure. Fun. I played 5 straight innings.
That's what I was just going to ask you.
Yeah. Finally, I had to quit. Could hardly move. Didn't seem to make any difference where I was, Joe. Those kids weren't there. They just ran me ragged.
Yeah, well, maybe you better take it a little easy today, huh? Would you like the day off?
No, not the day off, Joe, but, I'll take it easy. Faye rubbed liniment on my back all night. All over my arms and legs. Man, I'm sore. It even hurt to get dressed this morning.
Mm-hmm. Well, what was the final score, anyway?
Well, at the end of the second inning, it was 14-2 in favor of the Little Saints.
You told me all that.
Neil's team.
14-2. You got in the game and played. What did it end up with?
I didn't even get one hit.
You didn't?
No. 3 times the bat, didn't even get a hit.
Yeah, well, that's too bad. What was the final score of the game? Did you hear me? The final score of the game?
Oh.
Not the original score, but after you played 5 innings, what was the score, the total? I was just curious to know.
Yeah. 46-12 when I left.
Mm-hmm.
That was at the end of the 7th. The Little Saints were up when I left.
That was the other team's favor.
Mm-hmm.
The team you weren't playing on.
Joe, don't rub it in. The other team had run through their batting lineup twice. The way they were going, I think they were going to have to call the game on account of darkness. They'd been up for over an hour. Only 1 out.
They sound pretty good.
Well, they may sound pretty good to you, but they're murderers. Joe, those kids grew up. There isn't going to be a ball club in the country that's going to have a chance against them. I never saw anything like it.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry I missed being here to see you play.
Yeah, I bet you are. It was pretty bad, Joe, really.
Well, you'd never know it.
Had me marked down for 10 errors when I left.
Only 10?
It wasn't 5 innings.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you got to be pretty bad to run up a score like that.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
I was, Joe, though. I was pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Auto theft Friday. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Sure, we'll be right out. Want to give me that name again, please? Uh-huh, and that address. Fine. No, right away. Yes, sir. Friday. That's right. Right, bye.
What do you got?
Well, I don't think you're going to get much rest today. There's a used car dealer out on Washington Boulevard.
Yeah?
He thinks he bought a stolen car. 8:15 a.m. We left the office and we drove out to the McGowan Car Company. It was a large lot on Washington Boulevard. Along the front of the place, there was a line of late model cars, each advertised as today's special. We walked through the aisles of automobiles to the office in a trailer at the back of the lot. There was nobody around, so we knocked on the door and waited.
Well, he said he'd be here, didn't he?
Yeah, I told him we'd be right out.
Yeah, maybe he's gone out to breakfast.
Yeah?
Mr. McGowan?
That's right.
Police officer, sir. You called our office. My name's Friday.
Oh, yeah. Come on in.
Thank you.
Come on in the back. Just having a cup of coffee. Fix you guys up with one?
No, sir, not for me.
How about you?
Yes, sir. Sure, I'll have a cup with you.
Good. Go on back and sit down. I'll bring it right back.
Thank you.
Say, just get your fellas' names.
My name's Frank Smith. My partner, Sergeant Friday.
Oh, glad to meet you. I talked to you on the phone, didn't I, Mr. Friday?
Yes, sir, that's right.
Thought so. Never forget a name. Never do. There's your coffee.
Thanks.
I'm Jesse McGowan. Guys on the row are all the time kidding me about my first name. Jesse. Get it?
No, sir, I don't believe I do.
Jesse. Jesse James.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, anyway, I wanted to tell you about it. This guy came in Saturday night.
Last Saturday?
Yeah, you see, we stay open till 10 on Saturday night. This guy must come in about 9. Jack went over to take care of him, but the fellow said he wanted to see the manager, so Jack brought him back here.
I see.
Said he had a car to sell, brand new Merc. Beautiful car. Say, I got a box of donuts here if you'd like one.
No, thanks.
I think I'll have one. Didn't get a chance to eat this morning. Got to worrying about this deal.
Mm-hmm.
Got some of these new kind with the cinnamon on top. Sure good. Well, I told this guy we'd like to buy the car, but we were kind of overstocked on Mercs.
Yeah?
He said he'd just come out from the east and bought the car when he got here. Said right after he paid for it, he lost his job and had to get some money out of it.
Uh-huh.
I asked him if he'd like to make a trade, a transportation car and money to boot. Offered him a good deal on a Nash Rambler. Just got a couple of 51s in.
Yes, sir.
He said he wanted to sell the car outright. Said he was going to leave town. He wanted to get his money out of the car. I asked him how much he wanted for it.
Mm-hmm.
He told me he'd have to let it go for $2,200. It's about $800 under what he must have paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right away, I figured there was something wrong, so I had the mechanic look it over. Only had 3,200 miles on it, hardly broke in. Beautiful. Radio, heater, white sidewalls, continental hookup, real beaut.
What'd your mechanic say about it?
Said it was in perfect shape. So I asked the guy who the legal owner was.
What'd he say?
He said he was. He'd paid cash for it, had the pink slip made out to him all right. He had the identification to go with it.
You bought the car then, did you?
Yeah, sure looked like a good deal. I gave him a certified check made out to cash for the amount. He gave me the keys. That was the last I saw him.
Well, aside from the fact that it's an unusual deal, why do you think there's something wrong with it?
Well, for the first thing, the price he wanted for the car was too low. I had the feeling that if I'd have given him any trouble on it, he'd have come down on it.
Do you have the pink slip here?
Oh, yeah, I brought it with me this morning. I got it here in my wallet.
Any other reason you think the deal might be phony?
Well, it's hard to put it into words, Sergeant. Nothing I can point out to you, just a feeling. You stay in this business very long, you kind of get to know people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's been a lot of gags about used car salesmen, about how we're always after somebody. Most of the time, though, it's the other way around.
Is that right?
Yeah, the bums were put out of the business right after the war. Public wouldn't stand for the way they did business. Got to rely on people coming back if you're going to come out in the long run. I guess it's like almost any other kind of business.
Yeah, I suppose so.
What kind of identification did the man have to prove he was this, was it Lewis Carter?
Yeah. Well, to tell you the truth, Sergeant, I didn't ask for any. He had the pink slip. Price he was asking was right. We checked the block and body number. It was the one listed on the slip. No reason to believe he didn't own the car.
How about it, Joe?
Well, looks like it's one of the slips from DMV in San Diego.
You mean there is something wrong?
What if I use your phone, please?
Sure, you bet. Track there, help yourself.
Thank you. Can I dial a Michigan number on this?
Yeah.
Fine. $2507, please. Yeah, auto theft. Mm-hmm. Hi, this is Joe Friday. Yeah. Say, we got a pink slip out here. Looks like it's one of those that were stolen from DMV down south. No, down south. San Diego? Mm-hmm. You got the list there? Yeah, I'll wait.
You mean somebody stole a pink slip from the department?
Yes, sir. As near as we can figure it, about 24 of them.
Never heard of that.
Well, this is the first one of them. Hello? Yeah. All right. Made out to a Lewis Franklin Carter. No. C Charlie, yeah. A, R, D dog, yeah. E-R. Carter, yeah. Mm-hmm. Registration number is 660-, no, 2 6s. 660-, 2 more 6s, 667. 660-667, that's right. Address, 4287 Ingram Street, Los Angeles. LA 5. Engine number 585509. All right, I'm sorry. 58550925. That's it. Mm-hmm. Mercury 8. Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, that's what we figured. You got anything on the car? Mm-hmm. No, it was sold Saturday night. That's right. Yeah, there should be something out on it. Okay. Right. Thank you.
How about it? The car stolen?
No report yet, sir.
I got to call the bank.
Now, you said you gave the man a certified check?
Yeah, I got to stop payment on it. Ain't going to be easy either. He can cash it any place. Sure looks like I'm out $2,200.
Well, it isn't likely he's been able to cash it by this time, sir.
Maybe not, but I'll give long odds that he's standing in line when the door's open. I better give him a call. Hope somebody's there.
Well, it's just 8:25.
Yeah. Probably a little early. Yeah. Doesn't sound like anybody's there yet. Well, keep trying. I got to get that check. See what I mean?
What's that?
About the jokes. Now, we're the ones always trying to get away with a fast deal. No such thing. Take this one, for instance.
Yeah?
I bought the car in good faith. Paid cash for it. Gave the guy just what he asked for.
Well, not quite, sir.
Huh?
You get a little more than that. We got a complete description of the suspect, Lewis Carter. We put out a local and an APB on him, and then we asked Dean Bergman to come out and go over the car for fingerprints. The owner of the used car lot, Jesse McGowan, told us that the car had been washed and cleaned thoroughly, but he didn't think we'd be able to come up with any fingerprints. 9 a.m. We put in a call to the bank and asked them to stop payment on the check and to notify their branch offices to do the same. McGowan supplied the number of the check, and the information was gotten out to the other banks and check cashing agencies in the area. Bergman finished checking the car, and he told us that the only print that he'd been able to find was a partial thumbprint under the dashboard. We rolled the prints of the man who'd washed the car, along with those of McGowan and the other people on the lot who'd come in contact with the automobile. None of theirs matched. We checked with the office and told them that we'd check out the address listed on the pink slip. 9:37 a.m. We pulled up in front of 4287 Ingram Street. It was a large two-story place that had been converted into a rooming house. There were several cars parked in the front yard. We went up to the front door and rang the bell.
Want to try it again?
Yeah.
I didn't know there were any of those around anymore. Don't see many of them nowadays.
What?
What kind of doorbell?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I'd like to see Lewis Carter.
I'm him. What do you want?
Police officers. We'd like to talk to you.
Cops? What do you want with me?
Might be better if we talked inside.
Huh?
Inside?
Oh, yeah. Come on in. I just got up. One of you guys got a cigarette?
Yeah.
Thanks. How about a match?
Here.
Thanks. Well, what do you want to see me about? Something wrong?
You own a 53 Mercury convertible?
Yeah, why?
You know where it is?
It should be out in front. Why?
You leave the keys in your car when you park it?
Once in a while I forget it, yeah. Look, I don't know if it's there now, though.
Your car's been stolen, Mr. Carter.
Huh?
Your car's been stolen.
Wait a minute. Yeah, you're right. Well, where is it? You got it back for me? Is it in the police garage?
No, sir, I'm afraid it's not that easy. It was sold Saturday night.
Sold? Who to?
A used car dealer out in Washington.
Who owns the car, sir?
Well, I do.
Do you have the pink slip on it?
No, I didn't get it back from the Department of Motor Vehicles yet. Why?
Well, the man that sold the car had the pink slip with him.
Well, I don't care if he did have it. The car doesn't belong to him. He had no right to sell it.
When's the last time you saw your car?
I guess it was Saturday afternoon. I came home early. I parked it out in front. Yeah, Saturday afternoon.
Uh-huh. How is it you didn't know the car was taken?
Officer, you saw the front of this place. Must be half a dozen cars parked out there. The rumors, they use the yard.
You didn't use the car over the weekend, then, is that it?
Oh, no, I didn't. I got home Saturday afternoon, like I told you. I spent the whole weekend doing some painting in one of the upstairs rooms. It's been vacant a long time. I figured maybe if I put a little paint on it, I might be able to rent it.
Mm-hmm.
See, my wife used to take care of the place. She and I had some trouble. She went back east to see her mother. Seems like the house went to pot after she left, and we're really going to have trouble when she comes back and sees this mess.
How many people do you have living here?
9.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to have you take a look at this description, see if any of them fit it.
You figure it might be one of them?
Well, we'd like you to check the description if you would.
Okay. No, I'm pretty sure it isn't one of them. None of them match this.
What if you can give us their names?
Oh, sure I can. Well, why do you have to have them?
Just routine.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can give them to you, but I'm sure they are mixed up in it.
Yes, sir.
The thing I can't figure is how he got the pink slip.
It was stolen, sir.
From the state?
Yes, sir. Last month, someone broke into their offices in San Diego and stole 24 registration slips.
How much you get for the car?
$2,200.
$2,200. Thing cost me over $3,000. Guy must be a jerk, huh?
I don't know. It didn't cost him anything. 10:15 a.m. We went by the used car lot and picked up the owner. We took him down to the city hall and had him check the mug books. After going through the pictures, he was unable to give us an identification of the man who'd sold him the stolen automobile. We checked the names of the people who lived at Lewis Carter's house. One of them had a record of arrest on charges of violation of Section 4127A of the Los Angeles Municipal Code. He'd served a short term in the city jail and then he'd been released. His physical description, however, did not match that of the suspect we were looking for. 11:35 a.m. We had the used car dealer taken back to his lot, and Frank and I checked into the office.
About the only thing we got working for us is the check.
Yeah. Hope they get the word out in time.
If he gets his hands on that money, he can go a long way.
I get it. Followed up that Friday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we did. Uh-huh. Right. That's right. Be there as soon as we can make it. Right. Bye. Well, he isn't going far.
What do you mean?
He's at the bank now.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
At cigarette dealers, in vending machines, at supermarkets and stores coast to coast.
Chesterfields, please.
Smokers by the thousands. Yes, smokers by the thousands are now changing to Chesterfield, the only cigarette ever to give you
1. Proof of low nicotine, highest quality. Chemical analyses of the country's 6 leading brands confirm that.
2. The only cigarette ever to give you this proven record with smokers. Again and again, over a full year and 1/2, a group of Chesterfield smokers have been given thorough medical examinations. The doctor's reports are a matter of record,
No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield.
A responsible independent research laboratory supervises this continuing program. Chesterfield, the only cigarette ever with a record like this. Chesterfield, best for you.
We'd gotten a call from a branch office of the bank that the check had been drawn on. At 11:30 a.m. that morning, a man had walked into the bank and presented a check for the amount of $2,200 drawn on the account of Jesse McGowan. Because of the amount of the check, it had to be okayed by the head cashier. Fortunately, he'd gotten the information about the check and had stalled the suspect long enough to call us. He was able to keep him waiting until we got there. The man was taken into custody without any trouble. He denied having anything to do with the stolen car, and he said that we'd made a mistake. We took him downtown and started to question him.
I tell you, I don't know what this is all about. I'd like to help you out, but there's nothing I can do.
Frank?
Yeah?
You want to get in touch with McGowan, have him come over?
Yeah, right away.
Oh, you want to tell me again where you got that check?
It was against the law to have a check.
I'd like to know where you got this one.
I won it.
Where?
Look, I don't know what this is all about. I'm not about to get any of my friends in trouble by naming them. I got nothing to do with this, let alone my pals.
You'll save yourself a lot more trouble if you'll tell us where you got the check.
All right, I won it in a poker game.
Pretty high stakes.
Yeah, we gave up kid games.
Where'd you win it from?
I told you I wasn't going to name any names.
We're going to get them sooner or later, you know that.
Not for me, you aren't.
You build it any way you want.
That's the way I figure it.
When was this poker game?
Saturday night.
Where?
I'm sorry, there's another one I can't answer.
You been in San Diego lately?
Not for a couple of months.
When's the last time you were down there?
I don't remember right off.
It'll help if you can.
What do you mean, help me? I got no trouble. You guys make a pinch while I'm trying to cash a check. I won the money. It was a payment for a debt. All I was trying to do was get my money. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong. Why don't you tell us where you won the money from?
And have you guys throw a beef at them? Nothing doing. I read where you fellas spend your time breaking up a game of old maid.
It's a little more serious than that, isn't it?
Well, maybe to you. I got no problem. All I got to do is sit tight.
You keep believing that, mister. You keep acting like this, and you'll see what a problem you really got here.
McGowan's on his way over, Joe.
Who's McGowan?
He's the man who wrote the check you tried to cash.
Waste of time. You don't know me.
We'll let him decide that.
Go ahead. Have your fun.
A couple of questions we'd like to ask you.
Go ahead. I got nothing more important to do.
Check your name through our identification bureau. Came up with some mighty interesting things.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Let me see, Frank.
Here.
True name Harold Drake, is that right?
Yeah.
Your address is listed as 2917 Ledgewood Drive, is that right?
Yep.
You told us you'd never been arrested.
I haven't.
Let's take a look at the picture.
You got the room rigged for movies?
I'm going to tell you something, Drake. You mark it down, you remember it. The sooner you stop playing footsie with us, the better it's going to be for you, understand?
When do you bring out the rubber hose?
That went out with the story you're trying to hand us.
Here's the picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the guy looks a lot like me. Didn't know any better, you might think we were twins.
Yeah, if you didn't know better.
But we do, huh?
Oh, come off it, Drake, will you? We got you nailed and you know it. You want to sit there and dream up these fairy tales? That's up to you, but we got a job to do. We know you'll stand for this, and so do you. Now, why don't you save us both a lot of trouble and cop out?
Look, I'd like to do it, Sergeant. No lie, I really would. But I can't cop out to something I had nothing to do with.
All right. Start all over again. Where did you get the check?
A guy gave it to me to pay off a poker debt.
You going to tell us who the guy is?
No.
I think it's time to stop playing games. Now, let's get down to what we got on the books here. You claim you never been arrested. We got a package on you here that shows 3 arrests and 2 convictions.
And a guy that looks like me.
Let's go down the hall and roll your prints. That'll clean it up, won't it?
I'm for that. Now, go on. Tell me the rest of the fairy tale.
I'll lay it out for you in 1-syllable words.
That'll make it easy for you.
You broke into the offices of DMV down in San Diego on February 28th.
Yeah, Dago's nice in February. Somebody's going to write a song about it sometime.
You stole 26 pink slips, ready for mailing to the owners.
You must mean somebody else.
Now, that smile's going to come off your face, Drake, when McGowan walks in.
Look,
here.
I don't know who Mr. McGowan is, but I'll be happy to meet him. Now, tell me, what did I do after I stole the pink slips?
You got the address of Lewis Carter. Then you went to his home on Saturday night and you stole his car.
You drove it down to McGowan's used car lot, and with a pink slip, you sold it to him for $2,200.
I was busy that night, wasn't I?
What are you trying to prove with all this talk, Drake? You trying to make it rough on yourself? Is that what you want?
I'm not trying to do anything. All I'm doing is trying to go along with you guys.
I'll check and see if McGowan's here.
All right.
Can I have one of those?
Yeah, help yourself.
Thanks. And I wouldn't have your job for all the money in the world.
All right.
Yeah, that's a lousy way to live. Going around trying to get people to cop out to things they didn't do.
That's the way it looks to you, doesn't it?
From anywhere I sit, it turns out just that way.
A couple of things wrong.
What?
Your record, for one thing.
If you can prove it's mine.
All we got to do is walk down the hall and you've had it. As soon as we check the prints, we've turned the key.
Sounds good the way you tell it.
Going to sound better the way the judge says it, isn't it?
Who's writing for you?
You were arrested in 1939 for auto theft. You served 3 years. Arrested in 1945, suspicion grand theft auto. Dismissed.
There, you see. They knew they had the wrong guy.
Nobody's told us. Another arrest in 1946, grand theft auto. Served 4 years.
Case of mistaken identity.
Is that what happened both times?
Some people got very bad eyes. Now, you take this fellow McGowan you're bringing in here. Wouldn't be at all surprised if he had bad eyes.
You know, there's one way to get yourself out of this, and that's to tell us where you got that check.
I don't know how to do it any more simple than I have, Sergeant. I won it playing poker, and I'm not going to tell you who I won it from. It wouldn't do any good.
I don't know who's been giving you advice, mister, but you aren't playing it very smart.
Really?
The guy who dreamed up this routine probably spent the next 20 years at Q.
As a matter of fact, he's still walking around.
All right, mister, let's go down the hall and check your print.
Come on in, Mr. McGowan.
That's the man.
You sure about that?
Swear to it in court.
What are you trying to do? Cause me a lot of trouble? I haven't done anything, and you know it. Now you come in here and you say that's the man. You know what they can do to me?
All right, Drake, that's enough of that.
Let's go, Mr. McGowan.
Swear to it in court. That's the man who sold me the car.
How about it, Drake?
Nothing more, huh?
Yeah, we'll roll your prints and check them against the record. We got a couple of partials from San Diego. If yours match up, and I think they will, you've had it.
No way out, huh?
Not that I can see.
Oh, what happens, now this is just a wild question for the sake of argument. What happens if I cop out, plead guilty?
We got nothing to say about that.
You can't help out, huh?
No, sir.
Save the taxpayers a lot of money, no trial.
I told you we got nothing to say about that.
Not much to gain then by copping out, huh?
We got you made if you do or you don't. Maybe make it a little easier if there's no jury trial. That's up to the judge.
Nothing you can do?
It'll go into the book that way.
Mm-hmm. Got another cigarette?
They're right there. Help yourself.
Thanks.
All right, let's go. Might as well get the prints and finish this thing up. Come on, Drake, get up.
No hurry. Let me finish the cigarette.
I said, come on, we got other things to do.
Well, so have I.
What?
1 to 10 years.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On September 15th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
And now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Well, this is brief, but I think very much to the point. Chesterfield is the only cigarette that gives you proof of low nicotine, highest quality. That's what I want in my cigarette, and that's what you should look for in yours. Chesterfield, regular or king size, best for you. Try 'em.
Harold Alex Drake was tried and convicted of grand theft auto 3 counts and was sentenced as prescribed by law. Grand theft auto is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of from 1 to 10 years. A hold was placed on the suspect by San Diego County for prosecution on the burglary charge. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Herb Bygren, Jack Crucian, Herb Ellis. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely new Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspaper for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Have you tried new cork-tipped Fatima? It's the smooth smoke. Here's why. New Fatima tips of perfect cork, king size for longer filtering, and Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. Remember, Fatima has the tip for your lips. Try new Fatima. See how smooth it is. Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
Tonight, visit with Cousin Willie on NBC.